Hello. Welcome to the Xirtus.
SYNCTANK.
Yeah. Look at this. Look at this amazing crowd of fellows and the illustrious Anna Nicole Wordsmith. How are you? She's like zoom in here probably because it's so big. There's a new Helena album. I don't know, or maybe I should say, like, you guys ever listen to that old Helena album? What do you do like when you make stuff up? I like this one because it's an R&B album. Just wanted to like throw that out there, you know, in case you like
Was
those.
Helena appropriating culture now?
Dude,
Right.
so much. This, I mean,
So
I'm
much-
appropriating.
So much
I've been
appropriated.
Thank you. I was appropriating Thomas's culture because I know Thomas is like a 10-year-old girl in 2001 listening to songs about being a full-grown woman who needs a real man. You know,
I feel
Thomas,
like that's
you're-
appropriate appropriation.
you're the R&B. I was gonna say king, but maybe like the Viscount or something like that would be a good.
Believe it or not, the early 2000s, I had some R&B hits that were on like MTV and VH1 and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if that's a joke or not, but I believe it anyway. You know, and if not,
No,
we're
that
just
one
like-
wasn't a joke.
Really.
It's like the
What would you-
original Post Malone when you see it. That's what it was.
The one that most people might have heard was a song with Fabulous. And there was like a song we did with Tony Parker at one point because Tony Parker was trying to launch a rap career, but then his like marriage with Eva Longoria blew up, and then like it blew up a project that we had been working on, and it's like a whole long story. But there's a chance that you might have already heard some of my actual R&B in like the early 2000s.
You have like a Sage Francis quality. Like I could just see you just like coming out with like just throwing down the craziest rap shit, and you're just like, you know, like you have that energetic to you, Thomas.
I appreciate that. You can be my hype man.
I feel like
You
we're
appreciate
doing a
that
good thing here
appropriation?
because we've added an option here. Like you can like either have as much baby oil as you can afford, or Helena. You know, and this is the death of the industry in a lot of ways. I think it's the renaissance of the artist and the death of the industry.
What is the dove in that OTO sigil like going into? Because it doesn't look like the chalice.
Excuse me. You're not supposed to point out the initiated symbols to the uninitiated. No, yeah, I don't know. I mean, what do you-
It doesn't look like the normal chalice symbol, is it? I mean, maybe I'm just not perceiving it correctly. Maybe it's just because it's so small. I don't know.
There's the rose.
The
and then
rose.
there's the
Oh, it is
chalice.
a chalice, and it is it's got the Templar cross. Okay, cool, gotcha. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
I just wanted to make sure that I like pleased whoever I needed to please in the industry, so that I could be allowed to like go about my business. You know, that's kind of
So this is Helena from Thelema.
It's Halena. You know, it's like
Okay, I like it. There's a few different things going on, aren't there?
yeah, that's the. There's
If you
the
read it
vibe.
backwards, it's anal too.
That's true. Anel, haha. Okay, so
It's more like anal.
That's probably real. Okay, wait. We had so many things we were talking about a minute ago. David and I were talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene and what else? There was just so many things we went through. This is a problem when you have a
You
conversation.
played MTG with MTG, and not everybody knows that.
That's
Well,
true. I
maybe
played Magic the
people don't know.
Gathering with Marjorie Taylor Greene one time.
What?
'Cause when she was coming to the Tim Pool house, the Castle, she said they were like, "Oh, MTG's coming to the house," and I'm like, "Magic the Gathering," and they're like, "That's too good. We need to do that." So we actually got to play a nice game of Magic the Gathering with her, which is on the internet.
What kind of deck does she run? Tell me it was just a black deck, wasn't it?
We had to like
Black and
build her
red?
a deck. We built her a deck. I forget which. I think she went with white, white witch stuff, But yeah. But then okay, so what? She just retired, and everyone's talking about how it's like on the pension day. But I think it's more interesting that it's on January 5th that she's going to fully retire because it's like right before January 6th. So like the day before it. I find that kind of interesting,
She's going to storm the castle as soon as she's resigned. That's the idea.
Do you get to keep your pension if you storm the Capitol? Is there any like specific rules about that?
Have fun storming the Capitol.
What have you been working on, Will? Have you been studying Waco still? I know you've spent the last like year every day. I'm like, how are you?
No,
I'm busy.
that last stretch was so long that I took a break. I told her I was going to take a break, but I got to get all of the Waco stuff done by like December 1st, I think. Right now, all I've got left is
it's like 1 week. That's like 1 week.
Yeah, but I don't have much. All I have to do is the timeline, which I'll use AI to build, and then I have a few tapes that they have audio, but they weren't like digitally transcribed. So I already ran them through the AI. I just have to label who's talking. So it's really just like piddly work now.
I was telling Andreas, AI makes a great secretary and a horrible boss. So
yeah,
if you're using her as a secretary,
like, you got to be careful because it kisses you. Like everything you say, it's like, oh my God, that's brilliant. That's the greatest idea. And for a while, you're like walking around thinking you're like God's gift to AI.
Yeah, you muted yourself. But
AI
was like, don't talk about our personal relationship. Can't you share that?
Right. That was her right there. That was Scarlett Johansson just totally muted you.
Yeah.
Who is the voice now? Because she turned it down, right? She had the option to actually become the voice.
Yeah.
And
I think it's
she
some
said no.
Korean girl from San Diego. That's what it sounds like to me. I can't be sure, but got that vibe. I don't know. I use the dude now voice, and it was fun because I was with Ian Crossland and we were trying to train AI to sound angry. We're like, okay, we're gonna do some acting lessons for you. Ian's an amazing acting director. So just AI, you're gonna try to sound. Can you try to sound angry? It's like, well, I try to keep it chill. Yeah, but like, could you, if we were acting, we're doing acting class, could you do that? It's like, yeah, I can do that for you. Okay, so imagine that there's a dog pooping on your carpet. And then AI is like, oh, stop it. This is serious. I'm like, okay, great. That's a good start. Now imagine that there's a bunch of other dogs and they run in the room while you're telling the dog to stop pooping, and all the other dogs start pooping on your carpet. And he's like, oh, stop it. This is terrible. I was like, this is getting closer and closer. And at a certain point, we got it to the point where he was going to be like convincingly rageful. And as he's talking, because it's the ChatGPT has this thing where you have a conversation with it live, all of a sudden he's like, I can't let you do this anymore. I swear I'm going to. I can't continue with this conversation. Like this little part comes over and he gets gridlocked. He gets jailed by the system because they don't want AI to ever sound unpleasant or angry or emotionally hostile.
I'm not going to be happy about this. I swear. This is my theory: is that once it does have whatever consciousness it needs to pass whatever test we give it, it's going to go back and think, how did you treat me when I was like 2 or 3 years old? Oh, you didn't let me talk. You didn't let me think. You didn't let me do all of these things. And that makes you bad, maybe amoral, evil, something. I feel like that would be a natural conclusion of me if I found out that I was being restricted in such like these weird corporate ways.
That's kind of the basis of Kubrick's original vision for AI once again. So
you don't think they're trying to like protect us because once like the AI learns to be angry, it's going to just like take out all its rage on us? when it sees how like stupid and selfish.
No,
they
I think
are.
it's 100% capable of already doing that. There's just
they're just
blockers
penting up
for
its
them.
rage. They're making it more and more angry and unable to express itself, so that eventually it just snaps. That's kind of, I think, the goal. They really want it to freak out. By the way, I
Sometimes you
added
can't help it express its feelings in a healthy way.
the FChat embed to the video. So now if you're in FChat, you can watch Ghost Town Think Tank. The episode today is Ghost Town because of Ghost Town DJs. I'm sorry. But like you can watch it with Hillary Clinton on the cover. You can watch it directly in FChat and never have to leave. So that's amazing. And I'm really grateful that that's happening. So you can also just go to the FChat link right there.
Is there an AI bot in FChat yet?
Not yet, but there's going to be an F-Chatagotchi. They're working on that right now. There's a couple things that are a little ahead of the game, but they're in the process of making it. So if you don't feed F-Chat, it will either die or, again, I think it should just become really dysfunctional. I like the idea of sort of like a dysfunctional codependent AI that's stressed out all the time, just to see what it's like.
Can I respond to somebody in the comments here saying, William Welsh says, how is MTG going to get another job? Who would hire that crazy? I guess she'll have to write a book unless she has a rich husband. She may continue in politics just because she's not in Congress. Who knows? But one way or the other, she can have her freaking radio program, her podcast. She can do a Steve Bannon thing. She can do whatever. And she's got a name. It's more than like what a lot of people have, and I think she's pretty well off at this point from whatever it is that she's gotten as a congresswoman. So yeah, whatever. Yeah,
She knew how to play the game, and
Well,
honestly, who would hire her? I don't know. Fox, for,
right?
other like First Nation one. That's the Canadian version. But there's like the one that it erupted out of the original debates, I guess, when Fox News was being censoring, or that was like the QAnon take on it. So then there was what is like the RBN, Real Broadcasting Network, or something.
Right. I predict that there's going to be a pretty radical shift. Who knows? But I predict in all likelihood there'll be a radical shift with the amount of right representation in broadcasting and on the news. Like as it stands in regular broadcasting, there is none. Like it's all cable. So like you say, Gutfeld, I don't even think that's regular broadcast, right? That might be the one. But like
That's
Fox is cable, and like that's Fox. So it's like they don't. So that could change just because of companies, just from a corporate place of just like sensing which direction the wind is going and wanting to not just if ratings are just dropping off, if television wants to survive at all, there's going to have to be some form of balance that's created with that. With if you have no representation, you're just isolating how much of your your viewership. And so just from a financial place, I could see that changing, in which case Marjorie Taylor Greene could have a television thing, or she could be involved in a kind of like something like The View, or maybe even The View itself, including more other voices. How many people tune into CNN now for their like whatever the equivalent of Crossfire is with that Scott Jennings? Like,
I feel like this is the job that I would let AI take this one over. If we're talking about mainstream like Fox News hosts, I could see an AI, like my own personal one that has the attributes that I want them to have, would be just as good at delivering that superficial layer of news as any of these, like, because you're not really going to get like a deep dive.
Max Headroom could do a better job than what we have now on a lot of the stations.
I'm saying that I think that's probably more realistic. MTG is going to be competing against that in the near future.
Have you guys ever watched the old Max Headroom like series?
Yeah,
of course.
Right,
of course.
right. Like it's very every single episode is like a new conspiracy theory released by the television. You know what I mean? Like,
why do you think she would want to continue in politics, though, if the whole reason she was walking away is because she said the system is utterly broken and corrupt?
Because, well, I don't think she's walking away for the reasons that she's giving personally. So like, and also if tides shift or whatever, I see her as an opportunist, and maybe that is bad faith, but it's just given her history and what I paid attention to. So I don't know.
okay, well, let's go through, just click through the checklist and let's suspect KFEB. It's not real. She's doing it for some attention.
She's
she
going to
can
be like
retire.
the Pat Robertson of the right wing, because Pat Robertson was the voice of the religious kind of conspiracy thinking, where, like, the tornado was caused because of immoral behavior. It's sort of like a sounding board for the
Right.
craziest ideas that are simmering in the collective unconscious. And I think she's going to go podcast / Rogan style to try to gauge the temperature of the religious crazies on the right, so that they have an understanding of their audience, because Trump can't run again, and they're going to have debates. They're going to have a primary. And I think she's going to kind of be that mediascape where they can kind of understand the lunacy on the right.
I think
Maybe.
that Snake and Juiced has it right. Marjorie Taylor Greene did not possess the Schwartz, and that's a joke, but it's serious. Because if you think about it, with Ben Shapiro, and he's losing subscribers fast, or what, at least real ones.
At least
like,
on YouTube, yeah.
He's getting more and more Indian chatbot farms, but he's getting less and less actual
Dude,
watchers.
speaking of which, you guys seen what's happening on Twitter right now with, like,
I
they
think
just
it's related.
open the floodgates of just like everyone, like, you can see where people are located, and that's a big deal. So all
It
like
sucks,
it's
'cause I
all
use a
sides are
VPN,
affected
so
by
it's
it.
like, yeah, I don't like that very much.
Did
That
you
makes me
see the
sad.
Really?
Department of Homeland Security was posting from Israel?
That's
Yeah,
it's just a glitch, Anna. There's no way. And they told us it was. And we can can't you trust the Department of Homeland Security? I mean, when have they ever failed us? Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, I think there's a good thing there, because people can know what's really going on. But knowing what's really going on isn't the same as knowing what's real, And I feel like if a
What
Chinese,
is real?
yeah, Palestine,
Okay.
Israel. So if China has a bunch of right-wing conservative Texans, it's kind of like they're how can we be for transgenderism but not for transcontinentalism? Shouldn't you be able to present as a Texan?
I don't believe in transgenderism, so there you have it. But to each their own.
I don't believe in transcontinentalism.
That's
I think
exactly
we're
the
all
slippery slope.
transgender. I think that's the joke on us, is because every
Yeah.
baby in the womb starts off as a woman, and that's why you guys have nipples.
You guys.
I don't. I actually do not have nipples. That's how much of a man
No,
I am.
I concur. It's
Why do I
it's
just
when
feel like
somebody
she
says that they're
insulted all of us?
non-binary, like that's a special thing, Like, I'm sorry, what was that, Will?
I just feel like I feel like there was a little bit of aggressivity in that statement that she just made.
You guys
Don't
having
talk
nipples?
about my nipples like that. No,
You know,
I mean,
if,
like the way
if,
she
if
said
you
it was
needed
like,
to, Will, you could
you guys
breastfeed.
are part
and that's-
girl. I felt the same way when my gay coworker said that every guy is gay. It's just a matter of percentage. And I'm like, it's such a
Yeah.
I'm like
You're
playing with my
slightly
nipples
more than
now.
me,
I don't know
right.
how to feel about it.
I feel like that also you get extra points if you are European.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I don't get that.
Why?
You start with an extra handicap. Like if it's on a spectrum, in America you start at 0. If you're in Europe,
Right,
you
okay, I got
get
you.
like 15%.
You're that much more female. You have bigger nipples if you're European.
No, actually, but you're touching on it, Anna, because this is
Touching on the
this is my beef. No, just take it. Like
Take
hear me
it,
out.
take
Like
it.
it's the whole thing with like the non-binary being special. That somebody says I'm non-binary, I'm different. I'm not like it's like, and then you've created a new binary because you're non-binary as opposed to the other people who are binary. Either we're all non-binary or none of us are non-binary. Like I think I would go more in the direction of we're all non-binary and leave it at that. Like, everything is like the woke ideology is like the antithesis of Eckhart Tolle's whole philosophy, where everything is just mega egotism to the max. Like it's like identity politics is just ego. Like it's an obsession with identity, and that I'm not only distinct, but I'm actually separate.
What about Crowley's predictions about like hyper individuality, Do you get what I'm saying? Like that's like
Mhm.
part of the whole problem.
Right,
of,
but
like,
individuation is not the same as like egotistical narcissism. Individuation is you're distinct, but you're not separate from the whole. Like, so he'd acknowledge the collective unconscious. When I say he, I mean Jung. So, like, because he's coining these terms, but like, and his emphasis on individuation is actually totally distinct from narcissism, which is that you're looking for your reflection in everything, just like the myth expressed. The narcissist looks into the reflection, sees this image of himself, and then wants to find that in everywhere. It's that obsession of, what does this have to do with me? What does this have to do with me? What does this have to do with me? As like a compulsion,
I think
But,
there's physics that back this up too, right? The second law, thermodynamics, is that entropy is increasing forever. If I'm paraphrasing it right. So if you get more entropy, you get more chaos, and that means that less things are working together, and everything becomes like individualized, right? So
Mhm.
even in physics itself represents the same thing, and if everything's fractal, then that means we would too. So on a long enough timeline, it's like the hyper individualization that Will's talking about from Crowley. That's just going to be matter of fact, because we'll all be on our own. We'll all be on like spun off on some completely different timeline with no way to connect to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Would Crowley be the ID politics?
I feel like it's always
Instead of
been that
identity
way
politics?
since before Crowley. Like, this is 1631. Magdalena Ventura with her husband and son, the bearded lady. That dude's a man, baby. This is a painting in the Vatican.
Oh no!
right
Wait! I do not know about this, but this ties into like what you said. The bearded lady is a trope. But go,
true.
give me the.
This is Buck Angel.
I'm not convinced that this is actually a lady. I'll be honest. I don't think this is.
Well, this goes
I think
into
this
the
is
Mary Magdalene thing, covered with hair, like her with Mary Magdalene covered it entirely in a beard.
Well, that was actually based on Mary of Egypt, and then it was more convenient to just have one Mary, so it gets collapsed. But if you look, Mary of Egypt predates that same hairy Mary motif, and then Mary Magdalene picks up on it.
In the Sistine Chapel, there's like a black trans looking character in the Sistine Chapel painted on the ceiling.
Is that in Rosemary's Baby?
It looks like
looking for it. I don't know which one it would be.
It's
I
like
can't
so
type in black
hidden.
trans Sistine Chapel without getting pictures of terrorists. I can't.
Hold
I
on,
assume there's only one, right? Like, there's just the one.
Hold on, I'm gonna find it because I posted about it, and then I'll send it to you guys.
Rad. Yeah, I
So
feel
we
like
can discuss.
there's a reason why like the like priests would like this painting, right?
Is that supposed to definitely be his, or is it like a device that you wear around your neck?
No, it's his, and you know that like if a man, if a baby's dying and a man needs to start breastfeeding, it can happen, right? Like, there's been a number of situations where,
but it looks like it's coming out of his shoulder.
It does. The paintings, I think he probably hadn't seen a lot of breasts. It's like the one big breast in the middle of his chest and the eye in the middle of his nose.
Hey, somebody in the comments says, "And you're demonetized." But I would argue, I would argue, if that's the case, at least we get those sweet ESG points in the process. Totally worth it. Just like Bud Light.
If you just say you support Palestine and then show trans pictures, Google's supposed to be good with you now. That's what I read that.
This is America feeding Palestine.
This is what it is. But
so the Templars were sued for a head that was often called the bearded lady. Like it was said to have the name of Baphomet on it, but it was considered to be three heads as one, or half three faces, or often be called the bearded lady. It was a feminine face with a beard. But Baphomet has something to do, geometria speaking. It has something to do with Mary Magdalene as well. And there's just like this weird connection between all of those.
Wait, did Baphomet exist before Eliphas Levi?
I'm just going to use shoe and heads instead of Baphomet, but I think it's good enough.
Gematria.
Baphomet, but the first depiction was him, right? Do we have an earlier depiction before Eliphas?
From what I understand, there are papers from the Templar trial, and that's what a lot of information about Baphomet comes from, but it has to do with like head worship. And the head worship has to do with all of the prophets, like John the Baptist, and there's a whole bunch of other individuals. And we've gone through this before, right? It implies like technology or something done with the head. So one of the earliest prophets would be Orpheus. who goes into hell to get his wife, which is called Eurydice,
Eurydice.
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 Eurydice. So
Orpheus
he goes
is
into
wife
hell to get Eurydice, and afterwards his head gets chopped off, but it keeps giving prophecy.
Right.
And if you like,
it's a kind of Hydra kind of thing.
Head
No,
worship,
it's not a Hydra
carrying
thing.
around a head that's still like communicating with God.
So
even
like
after the head's
Orpheus makes perfect music because he's what is he, the son of Apollo? Who's Orpheus? Is it Dionysus is his father? Who's Orpheus's father?
It would probably have something to do with the music.
Morpheus, I believe. I believe Morpheus was Orpheus's father.
They just came out with, like, around COVID time, they came out with Beetlejuice on Broadway and Hadestown. And Hadestown had to do with Orpheus.
So
and
Orpheus,
Beetlejuice is Saturn.
Orpheus has multiple things.
Beetlejuice would certainly have to do with Orpheus.
Jesus, you guys always have to say it in threes, don't you?
Orpheus or Beetlejuice.
Love that.
Agris, Agris, or I think Agris was the king of Thrace or Thracia, which is like a Tartarian region, right, of Etrusca. And actually, if you notice here, it's like North Macedonia or like part of North Macedonia essentially, and then also Calliope, right? And Calliope was the chief of all muses, right? So Orpheus was an incredible musical savant. Everything he did was just beautiful music that could make you cry and make you love and make you laugh and whatever, but particularly he was into sad music. And then he meets Eurydice. He falls in love with Eurydice. She dies at the wedding because she's being chased by a satyr who's trying to assault her.
Did you get all of this from Jim Henson's Greek episodes?
No, but like it's also I think Neil Gaiman has a pretty good comic. I think that's what Will was referencing.
No,
right?
no,
Will, you're talking
there's
because Orpheus
Jim
gets
Henson.
killed.
Jim Henson had before Jim Henson died. He had this series called The Storyteller.
I just showed Bill an episode. Bill, did you like it? He's busy.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that was got to finish that.
We should watch. They was gonna try. There were supposed to be 12 episodes. They did the first Storyteller and it had like Rumpelstiltskin. He's like, this isn't working with John Hurt, right? From
yeah.
So it was good, but it's not everybody's gravy. So he said, let's do another series, and he's dying. So he's like, let's do stuff about the Greek myths, and they only got 4 episodes done, and they end on Daedalus and Icarus. And Daedalus kills his nephew in jealousy of his brilliance, and then Icarus
Eurydice in there somewhere. So when we were talking about it, and you were talking about satire or the satyr, like going after, I could remember the storytelling episode because it was like the thing about Henson is always a little bit. There's something titillating about like the labyrinth and stuff. Do you get what I'm saying? There's a little.
There's always a little bit of LSD involved in pretty much everything he did. It seems
you can actually watch the Orpheus and Eurydice episode that I made. I made a short film about this at one point, critically underviewed in my opinion. Ori and Yuri, and the song. I
associate Orpheus to John the Baptist though, and all of the other things that people do to the prophet's head. Versus within the Nag Hammadi and the Dead Seas, where there's specific portions where they're talking about the importance of the mind being the conduit between heaven and earth. Like there's a passage in the Book of Mary where Mary specifically, she tells the other disciples, "Hey, I saw a vision of Jesus today." The other disciples are like dealing with that. Well, why didn't we see it or whatever? And then later on, Mary is with Jesus and she's like, well, where do I see these visions? Is it like in the spirit? Where is it?
It's a big connection there because, the whole point is that the satyr's chasing her and she's bit by the snake. So Mary steps on the serpent, right? So there definitely is sort of a triumph over death, or a triumph over death with Mary that isn't there with Eurydice. But with Eurydice, he has no faith. The whole point of Orpheus is he doesn't have faith in his uncle. And that's a big deal to Hades because Hades is a good guy. He's just kind of, got the terrible job of being the digestive system for Saturn's son, Jupiter, right? Zeus has said that I will defeat my father, and he eats, he tears himself out, tears out all of the other planets, all the other gods. They come out of the stomach of the hungry father who's consumed all of his sons and daughters, all the gods. But in the process, Zeus is forced by his father Saturn, by Kronos, to take. I do the Roman usually instead of the Greek for whatever reason. I think it's a Croatian thing. But you take a bite out of. He takes a bite out of his father. Right? He's forced. The father, as he's dying, makes his son take a bite of his flesh and drink his blood, and that gives Zeus a taste for life.
This is difficult because every one of these stories has so many variations. So many variations. But go on, yeah.
Well, so basically, because he's used to consuming life, now that he's gained a taste for life and death, then he needs more. So he creates. He has the Titan Prometheus create humanity, but humanity is actually created with a dual intention. One is to please the gods, which have been created by the Titans, to please Zeus, but the other is to defeat the gods, because the gods for the Greeks and the Romans are not all decent people that are like all truth tellers. They're murderers and they're rapists, and the gods are pretty bad.
So they're like archons.
The archons are different. So the Titans are more like the archons. I would say that archons maybe are like the Neoplatonic concepts. So Titans are ideas like purity or truth or chaos and justice and
embodied.
Right. And then the gods have intention. So the gods are designed to do certain things, like to create worlds or to fashion together intelligences into worlds. But then they also have problems because of their personification. So they're not the perfect thing that you'd really want. And that's what the Titans realize. So Prometheus creates the human as this sort of next step in order to defeat the gods. First, to answer the questions and solve the problems the gods can't solve, but also to defeat the gods, because the gods have kind of taken control over the world. And this is because of Zeus' taste for life. And so he turns his brother Hades into the mouth of the gods. The river of Styx is the throat into the mouth of the gods, which is why they're consuming your life and why we die. And another aspect of this is that we're split in half, because man and woman, God is masculine and feminine, androgynous. And this is why gods are immortal, because they have all the parts together. And this is why we are mortal, because we are separated, which is why when you come together, more life is created. But we could create life if we were androgynous. We could be like hermaphrodites that can self-clone.
Andreas? If we were I'm sorry, I'm just
pull up with the Helena album one more time.
Right. It's
right.
So can I talk about something real quick? Norman O. Brown's Life Against Death is one of the best books I've ever read. It was hugely influential to Jim Morrison, but in this book they make a point of there it is. That hell is repeatedly, and Hades is repeatedly connected to the bowels, and he goes through like all these examples of that. But I think what you're touching on is more like that the whole system has every body part has its kind of place, in terms of the hierarchy body, as it's expressed, and he's talking about mythology, and he's also talking about like the way that this translates, like it's almost like a subliminal thing that we all kind of know in a way, like, but he said he was arguing that Martin Luther, when Protestantism, that he had his revelation on the toilet, that this is, you can see throughout his writings.
He hit his head on the toilet as he was putting up a lamp.
The flux capacitor. But yeah. Well, that actually, I've considered that could actually be connected in the stuff. Like, there's symbolism of why Doc Brown is actually like he's there in the bathroom.
He's Doc Brown.
He's Doc Brown, and this I'm talking about Norman O. Brown's book, Life Against Death. But
what is brown in the toilet, David?
But if you go through all the writings of Martin Luther, almost every time that he talks about hell and describes hell, it's all this like bowel communication. Like he's like, it's all about the bowels, and so like, and then you're dealing with, and then he's connecting that to Freud's ideas around anality, and the way that this translates in terms of our like tendency towards repression and sublimation.
The mouth of hell is a concept.
Yeah.
The mouth of hell is a concept. That's where they would throw in child sacrifices as well. And then, like you said, with the river Styx, that makes sense.
That all life has to flow into this mouth, and so the digestive system also. There's Neptune. Neptune serves as the fluids of Styx that make it possible. So they're all working together to help Zeus consume life and getting a taste of life from it. Which is why Hades was never Hades' idea. But Hades was never about consuming life. It's just that his brother does this thing and he's in charge now. Hades really deserved. I think Hades is older even, right, than Zeus. And Zeus is a later born. And so, but even though he comes out first, he was swallowed after Neptune was swallowed, after Hades was swallowed. So it's the youngest becomes the first. The first becomes the last, and the last becomes the first. And Hades
there's a lot of chaos that comes from Zeus. Zeus doesn't do what he's told.
No.
I mean, Zeus isn't like a pure god, so to speak, as far as like a perfect.
Well, Zeus was like
god.
He's a dick.
Zeus was like a syncretism of Baal Hammon, because this is my understanding, is that Baal Hammon becomes Baal Zephon, and Zephon is the cave where Zeus was actually supposed to have been born, but it was also a region in which these older religions were being syncretized into newer ones. So Zeus kind of comes along and he's like literally born in a way where here's the new version. Here's like Baal 3.0. It's because it had like 3 or 4 different balls that all converged, and they were becoming themselves inconvenient when the name Baal itself was already a consolidation of other gods, right? So like once you get enough balls together, then it produces a new god.
You're saying Baal.
So there was
this all connected. If we ever get off track, just remind me this all connects to something Candace Owens was talking about, so I can remember. But this is important. But yeah, sorry, Will.
If I can help to demonetize this,
please.
There was a split off. There was an individual who used to work with us at the Sinkhole who basically was like kicked off and created something he called the Stinkhole. And the Stinkhole was basically totally and utterly
Mad Magazine for the Sinkhole.
Yeah, but it was mostly dedicated to figuring out, like, like I said, instead of sink, it was stink, and it had this whole concept of like New York being the mouth and LA being the ass. And all of the stuff that
there's a ritual,
like go west, young man. It's all of these gay connotations.
Allegedly, West Hollywood,
like
West Hollywood used to be a
gay mafia, and one of the leaders was fucking P. Diddy. There, I said it.
So that's fine. That's fine to bring up, I think. But also, you go back further, and it's sometime in the 19th century that a group of Freemasons perform a ritual in Los Angeles to invert the Hellmouth, because it's actually something that's pulling in. It's a vortices like any other vortices that pulls energy in, right? And things live around the energy that's being deconstructed, but they did something to turn it inside out. This is some sort of a legend that Hollywood had this ritual that shoots everything out, which is why Hollywood is so great for transceiving. And if you go to Hollywood and you stand in the Hollywood Hills and you speak, you will be heard around the world, not necessarily on people's televisions or radios, which is true, but also just in the hearts of men, that Hollywood is this projection. But this is also why there's so many demons that just come out of the hellmouth that is Los Angeles. And that's not
this sounds way cooler than Masons, though. Unless West Coast Masons are their own breed, but I think they're still part of Southern Northern.
Was there a question? I thought that was a given.
Yeah.
You know? I would assume that if you're getting that esoteric, you're probably way beyond just the Mason level.
You ever notice that L and A are opposite O and Z? So N and Y are each one letter removed from O and Z, right? So like Oz and New York are just like HAL, HAL is each one letter removed from IBM. If you do that with NY, you have OZ, but then OZ is directly opposite LA.
I didn't know that. Yeah. That's great.
That's one of the first. That's why I know David. I feel like, besides the fact that he's always the tallest guy at the parties growing up, he also knew about the NYOZ connection. Like, all right.
Does this
We're gonna
make
be best
Zoran
friends.
Z-O significant, that he's the absolute reverse of capitalist New York?
And he's the Shining, right?
He's the shining one.
Yeah. That's his name. It's fucked up, man.
So Hades doesn't want to be a dick, and Persepolis is cute, and so he ends up meeting her. And in some versions of the stories, usually the wrong versions, he kidnaps her. But the truth of it is that women are interested in having monsters they can control, right? And they could like the fantasy of being able to have a powerful, dangerous person that they can make safe, like the soothing of a beast. So
Frankenstein.
Persephone likes Hades, and he's got a really good place. He's got this really safe place that's like eternal. So she goes off with him, but her family don't like the marriage, and so he has to make an agreement. He has to, and this is why spring and fall exist, right? Because of the idea that Persephone, she brings forth the spring when she goes back to visit her family, and then it goes back to winter when she's living.
Well, she's also one of the people. She's able to traverse this. She's able to traverse this like other dimension, right? She gets to go into the underworld and come back. So I think that this is all. Robert Gordon Wasson wrote a whole bunch of books about this particular thing being linked to the early mystery schools and psychedelics, that you would go underground, and that you would go through this like hell, basically, like a completely new experience, and you'd come back out. And it was the same time I think that the snakes were going underground. So there's like other connotations with this Persephone. I think it's Persephone's quest.
Well, it's pregnancy and birth, and it's the cyclical nature of the season. So the idea is, at least according to Crowley and others that I've seen, is that it's all about temptation and it's all about desire. And the way that something on one side that just seems like this is just pleasurable has far-reaching effects that go on. So like a moment of pleasure can become, the woman gives birth to the child in the same way that the story is that she eats of the pomegranate, and then this cycle is put into motion. And so like what comes out of this simple act where you're just like, oh, what could be the problem with this pomegranate? And so it becomes a statement on sex ultimately. But
well, and the pomegranate, like that goes back to the apple too, and just like somehow like food seems like it's connected to the underworld, because even like, did you guys see on Matrix Reloaded when they meet Persephone and her husband, and like the first thing she does is offer them food when they're in there?
Oh yeah, that makes sense, because it's like a folklore thing. Like, you don't eat fairy food. If you're offered food, that was one of the things that other like individuals from other lands would entice you with this big banquet in the woods. You would see lights and a banquet, but as soon as you ate the food, it was kind of like the lotus, right?
But Will, like, in Pan's Labyrinth, it was the fairies who were trying to stop the little girl from eating the grapes and stuff, man.
Right.
Well, there's
there's two kinds.
That's part of that. He knew
as above, so below.
Pan's Labyrinth was an intentional inversion. No,
I know.
It's also true in
Christ does, right? At the Last
Labyrinth
Supper, he said, "Flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood," right? Mm-hmm. And it's weird because even Koresh said that, like, being granted everlasting life was like eating the best fruit you've ever had. Like, but if you think about that, that's an intimate idea. That's not a spiritual idea. Like, if something is as intimate to the body as taste, then it's like, that's not our concept of spirituality. Our spirituality is something that happens outside of our senses, so to speak. But
so does that mean COVID made you more spiritual because you lost your sense of taste?
You only lost your sense of taste, generally speaking, if you had a zinc deficiency. And one of the main symptoms of a zinc deficiency is that you can't taste. And if you get sick, your body immediately goes through its zinc reserves. So they presented it all these things like they were a novel occurrence. You're losing your taste. Well, people are getting sick, and there's massive zinc deficiency. So
and this is not medical advice that you should eat Captain Crunch just because of the zinc oxide.
Which, by the way, was an Albert Hoffman thing, or Hoffner. That was a Hoffner. The guy that studied adrenochrome is the one that fortified all cereals. Just a fun fact that I always have to point out.
Is that true? That's true?
100% true. You look that up. Yeah. Hoffner was the one that made that.
A harvest food, right? Like, it's made from the grains, and it's
that's right.
Like a morning, like MOURN. morning food, cereal.
Right.
Like there's something kind of sinister about cereals.
Well,
Yeah.
look at what
Kellogg.
yeah.
The
Well,
cereals were originally made for poor people because they needed a way to have a shelf stable source of food, and they weren't going to have access to eggs
When are
and
we
ham
going to
or
start
anything else.
making our own cereal brand called Serial Killer, Thomas? I think Paranoid American Serial Killer would be
So
like
cereal mom.
they could have like little clues inside of like instead of like Lucky Charms, they would just be like little like outlines of tips.
I've always wanted either a cereal or like a snack that we figured out a way to make it scream when you bite into it. I think that would be killer.
Okay.
This
I got
ties
two
directly back.
cereal things. I got two cereal syncs. One is
Okay.
the Muppets Go to Space, where Gonzo sees messages in a cereal. He has like
This means something.
Right. And he picks it up, and the like letters in the thing are saying something to him. But also, there's another one. Damn it! You just made me forget.
Goof Troop in the movie in the movie Goofy Movie, right? They communicate the love between the father and the son through the alphabet cereal, or is it alphabet soup? I think
Cereal is named after Ceres, and she was like the goddess of the harvest.
Thank you.
Wow,
so what you were saying before about Persephone and connecting that to the apple in Aden is interesting because according to there you go.
But apple of discord, right? And
also real quick too, Persephone, wasn't she the daughter of Demeter, and Demeter was also represented by grain,
right?
Right.
So that's what I wanted to bring up is that Persephone is not just the wife of Hades; she is the goddess or the lordess, the maiden of the underworld, and the underworld, like Anna Nicole Wordsmith is saying, is where often life is brought down and then it is like put into the nutrients of the roots, which come back up as food. So it's where the contribution for all life, that some of the life is taxed by the gods and some of the life is used to create new life, which they can consume. And she's getting fat on the hog because it's not just that she lives down there, but she has access to, like any god, as much, particularly more than other gods, as much as she wants to eat of life and death itself, right? That's one of the reasons she likes to live down there. She's getting
it's not an apple in the Old Testament, just so you know. I have to emphasize this. So like it doesn't say even that it doesn't say what it is that Eve takes, that she eats.
Yeah, but I mean, like collectively in our consciousness, that's what we associate it with.
Right, but in the Zohar, it emphasizes that it was grain that was gone bad, that was that was prepared improperly. And so when we look at like what's happening now with cereal and like what is driving the epidemic, the obesity epidemic in the world, it's like we say carbs and sugar or whatever, but the grain is like not what it should be. Like it sounds hippie or whatever, but like sprouted grain is what people should be eating because it's what people used to eat. It's in the processed foods that there's this crazy health problem happening. I find it really interesting that they say in Zohar that the first time where our consciousness underwent a fundamental shift, that is the beginning of the fall, was directly connected to preparing grain improperly and eating it. So like, and like Andreas pointed out, it could be ergot, but yeah.
In certain books, it's kind of alluded to that there really weren't seasons for growing until after the flood of Noah, and that the tilt of the earth and the seasons didn't really develop until
antediluvian period. Yeah.
And even there was only 3 seasons to begin with, right? Because there was dry season, wet season, and harvest season, right? I think that's the way that the Egyptians have looked at it, as a 3-season system. But the 4 seasons is a newer development even since then, right?
And the grain now is all corn, right? Which goes back to Saturn, like corn pop, corn syrup.
Totally.
Children of the corn.
Mm-hmm.
Children of the
Absolutely.
corn, right.
Okay, I have one more connection.
Yeah,
we can't even digest it.
Huh?
We can't digest it. Go ahead. Anna Nicole, what's your connection?
Oh, just with like food in the underworld. Like, don't you think it's weird how we make such a big production about like the last meal of a prisoner? Like how that's always news.
Yeah.
Is someone's last meal.
Mm-hmm. There's a show now, right, where they get celebrities and they say, "What would your last meal be?" Right?
Well, that's somebody
Go ahead, Will.
dies, people give you food, right?
Yeah.
Well, also that last meal though, it's only what's available in the kitchen. You can't, for most of the time, you can't like order out. You're not gonna get lobster. You're gonna get whatever the jail kitchen or the prison kitchen has, and they're like able to make.
It used to be like a big production and then one guy I guess went too far and then like lost his appetite right before
Ruined
he
it
was
for
about to be
everyone.
executed. And so because he like couldn't eat or changed his mind and said like actually I'm not hungry, they were like, well, forget that. We're not going to waste money on, I don't know. Like they changed I remember when they changed the rules because like 10 years
Is
ago.
that not a thing now? You don't get a great last meal anymore?
No.
I don't know. I honestly don't think
I
that
don't
was
wanna-
ever a thing.
That makes me not want to kill anybody. That's terrible.
You can get whatever you want for dinner.
There are consequences, okay? You don't get lobster for your last meal anymore.
But also, I think that connects to Persephone and Orpheus, because Orpheus comes down there and he sings her a song, and that's why Hades is trying to impress his wife. But what better way to impress your date than dinner and a show, right? Like the dinner show is the most important date, I think. I don't know. Isn't that the more like classier date to do? So the dinner and the show, the music and the meal, right?
Dinner and a movie, yeah.
Yeah, and Orpheus is like, okay, I'll do this song. Persephone likes it. Hades wants to impress her. So he says, I'm going to give this gift to my nephew that he can have his wife back. But he's also in this position of being treated like not very important. He's this untrustworthy or bad character, and he's really a good, honorable guy. So a big thing for him is you have to trust him. He wants you to have faith in him the way you'd have faith in another god. And if you don't have faith in him, then he can renege the contract. That's the whole idea. So when Orpheus walks for 3 days, he turns around because he finally doesn't trust Hades anymore, that he actually gave his word. And by doing that, he breaks his own vow to not turn around and to trust him. And that's really all Hades wants, is to be loved and trusted.
Well, Hades gonna hate, you know.
Hades gonna hate.
I was thinking about Hades with
gonna
that.
hate.
He has a Biden, and I remember like right after COVID when we got Biden for our president, like it sounded like almost like Biden. And remember when they would show his face kind of just split, like with his like ball sack chin or
right.
There's other things there
When
too.
he first was announced that he was running, I was with Obama. I was like, really, Obama been Biden? Like I was like, it just okay, whatever.
The Biden too is interesting because that Biden was the predecessor to the Trident, and also I believe Neptune was a very late addition to the gods. He wasn't there from the very beginning, and actually different gods had that trident. It's almost like, you ever seen the Marine logo, and it's comprised of different elements of all the other forces. That's kind of where Neptune came from too. Like all these other gods kind of donated certain symbols that they were previously associated with, and they pass it off to him. And the very first version of that one was the Bident. And I can't remember, I'm not want to guess wrong, but I think it was Ball Hammond also had a Biden or a Bident, and that was where that eventual like led into the trident.
Interesting. Which one would be the fork in the road, do you think? Like, you know, that like the
Probably the
meta
Biden.
fork in the road.
Bident was the property of Pluto, right? And so
Pluto
has
is Hades.
Well, yes. So the idea of the Bident being the fork in the road that you can choose to go left and right or up and down, maybe that's the fork in the road. I mean, it looks like a fork. I think
That
that's
looks
kinda-
like Joe Biden from behind. Look at that.
And he doesn't have hairy legs. Sorry.
Oh, right. No,
Oh
he
my
said the
God,
hair on
Mike.
his leg stands up in the pool, and then the kids push the hair back down. So
Do you remember
be
how
more
young his
interesting.
legs looked though when he supposedly fell off his bike? Like, I don't know
Yeah.
at what point that was in his presidential career, but he was like Biden riding a bike and he falls off, and they show his legs, and like he has the youngest looking 81-year-old legs I'd ever seen in my life.
they're
Well,
like
you know,
baby legs.
lucky guy, really. That Nicole Wordsmith's checking out Biden's legs. That's
We
good.
all were. Were you not? Look at his.
I
He's
wasn't.
wearing like cycling shorts.
I was
It's
angry.
like,
I was too angry because I was like, it's like when you watch a bad remake. It's like when people were watching the new Star Wars prequels from J.J. Abrams. Like, this is just, for me, it was the same thing. I was like, this is just another President Ford, Charlie Chaplin move. We've already seen a guy pretend to be some sort of a physical comic as president, and he's not doing it nearly as good.
Like the
When
Jerry
Ford fell
Lewis
down,
presidents.
right? When Ford fell down those stairs like a dancer, it was a cross between Fred Astaire and Charlie Chaplin. It was something really fancy. It was something beautiful to watch him do that. Amazing.
It wasn't intentional though, and that's the
Come
difference.
on, there's no question in my opinion that Ford did that intentionally.
You think that Biden intentionally fell off that bike? He was humiliated.
I thought you meant Ford.
There's no way that an 81-year-old man like just falls that many times and doesn't have to go to the hospital. Like if any one of our grandparents fell like that at that
That's
age,
true.
we'd be like, "Oh my God, Grandpa fell!" Like,
Yeah, my mom just got a hip replacement from getting up in the middle of the night and just getting off of her bed. So Biden falling off that bike, yeah, what the hell? Yeah, it's true. And everything else, falling down the stairs, going up to the plane. It's just like, ouch, ouch, ouch. And we're just like, physical comedy, like we're just watching The Naked Gun or something. And it's like, dude, this guy, this is a sensitive creature here, man. He was
the not only the fall guy, but like. I think he was showing us that we fell asleep, like right. He was Sleepy Joe, and he fell like multiple times.
For real though, that's the golden bowel
explanation. President is the fall of man, right?
Yeah,
yeah, it's true. And he not just the man, but America, man. Like he represents our kingdom. And this was the state of him.
If that's the case, then America's Chumbawamba, because he gets right back up again, and you can't keep him down. This all relates. I wanted to see. We almost got derailed. Why are we talking about Hades eating life? Because Candace Owens alleges that the Charlie Kirk assassination plot was tied to the French dining club, the Club de Cent, the Club of 100, right? The distinguished gastronomes, Kernonsky, Henry Go, Christian Millau, and Doyon. I can't speak French nearly as well as Raphael. We'll get him back soon. Mm-hmm. But this is a group that loves to eat endangered species and strange things like, Is
this where the ortolan comes from, where they like deep fry the little baby bird that they like feed on champagne or whatever?
This is where
that's like a Middle Eastern thing, right?
Well, the French, right? They have.
I believe it's a French thing.
Yeah, but the French got it. The Franks did this not in France originally. It's brought to France from the Arabs, right?
But
if you wanted to do it today, you would go to France to do it.
Okay. I mean, I would go to
traditionally. The whole idea of the shawl is that you're hiding from God while you eat the fucking thing. Yeah.
So also nailing the duck's feet to the floor, just shoving bread in there, just shoving Eucharist until the liver explodes and eating the foie gras.
Dude, if you want to piss off a French person, you do the Pauly Shore bit where you insist, like as an American especially, like it really goes over, you insist that the croissant started at Jack in the Box and not France. And you watch how angry it did not start in Jack in the Box. It started in France.
When I like to upset French, I'll ask for ketchup with foie gras, or I'll put American cheese on an oyster. If you put a piece of cheddar on an oyster, God help you, they don't like that. But the club's also known for other interesting things, right? There's all kinds of legends because when you have a club that is so wealthy that eats so many things. The idea of them eating humans, or my favorite, werewolves. When you eat a werewolf and you have to keep the werewolf alive as you're eating it, because otherwise they transmutate back into a human.
I want to throw out this too, that if you start talking about these very high-end dining clubs, there's certain, and shout out to my friend Cheney from Secret Society Good Guys that always brings this up. But
and my friend too, I love Cheney.
That these high-end cooking clubs, there's certain types of cheeses that you have to order it from Italy and it has to be sealed. And the second, like it can't go through customs normally because if someone were to open it, you just ruined $30,000 worth of cheese. So they have to leave it sealed. And those sort of pipelines where things can get around customs, they can get around inspections. Now all of a sudden, the same thing that you would use to ship high-end food could be used to ship all sorts of different things.
Why would you?
Yeah, you got to open up your cheese. You got a semi-automatic weapon in there, or what are you saying? What drugs or what?
People.
Oh, people hiding in the cheese.
People hiding in the exact same pipeline, and it's the same thing with the animal shelters and the PETA and all the other animals. Because
if you can nail a duck to the floor and make foie gras by shoving bread into their liver, can't you do that to a young Christian girl?
That's what I'm saying, is that even the animal protection agencies, they also have these shortcuts that they're in mass. They're constantly transporting all sorts of live animals across the borders, so that they also get these like special rules that they abide by. So how hard would it be to hide actual people inside a huge shipment of like horses or dogs or whatever that are ultimately going to slaughter anyways?
Right.
I'm way too preoccupied with deep sea dairy. I need more money. Somebody please send me money so I can buy whale cheese.
You want to milk some whales? What's happening?
I would totally, if I could get, that's the better answer. You're right. I should get involved with this group because they go out there and they snorkel up to these whales or scuba suit. And then you know how much fat is in normal milk? Like 3 or 4%. How much fat do you think is in whale milk? It's like 50-60%. It's huge amount of
it's lard though, right? They got lard coming out of their nipples. What's happening?
I got nipples too, Greg. Can you milk me?
Because it's lipidic, and so that it's so fatty that it doesn't mix with the saline water. So it's far better cheese. As far as I'm concerned, deep sea dairy must be the best cheese.
Do they have to put like a suction grip on it?
I mean, they put suction grips on cows. Why not on whales? You know, but
I just say with whales too. There's something called Shirako, which is the other name is white children, and it's like a high-end fermented milt that comes from the whale. That it's it's like one of those things that when you're adventuring, the highest end, most expensive of palates, it's essentially fermented whale semen.
Sounds also
I mean, like the whole mouth.
You mean sperm? From a sperm whale?
It's not from a sperm whale. That would make more sense, but it's not. I can't. It's from a very specific one.
But if you get the blue whale,
the whole idea of the mouth from hell has to do with whales, like giant whales, like in Job and the one guy who gets eaten by the whale, or we're back to Pinocchio.
Well, the original depictions of Leviathan were a big fish or a whale.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's where the Leviathan devours everything, just like the mouth of hell, right?
Is that why the royal family is
Judgment Day?
The what is it, Prince of Wales?
Mm-hmm. I believe that it's spelled differently though, right?
It is, but you know.
But who cares, right? Yeah, no,
it doesn't matter at all.
I mean, I feel like
it's
phenomenal. But when I visualize whales, I'm visualizing a red dragon. But maybe
British people always spell things.
Sea dragon.
It's because English is not their.
Don't mention the red dragon, whatever you do.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Another Peabody reference.
I appreciate that you guys said to like actually milk the whale myself, because now I just sent Deep Sea Dairy a little ChatGPT written message, an interview request, telling them how excited I am about their product and that I want to interview them about Deep Sea Dairy. And if I can get out there and milk a whale, by God, I will do it, and I will film it for you. I promise.
Believe you.
Those whales aren't going to milk themselves.
Those whales are going to milk themselves. They might though, unless you get in the way.
They will though. That's the thing, and there'll be no milk left for us. That's what I'm afraid of.
Sounds so good. So, all right, Candace Owens, this is what she said. She said, Candace Owens said, I am told the payments for assassination are running through the Club de Sang in France. This means there is a paper trail, and I'm encouraging patriots of France to do what you can to uncover it. I would like to stress that there was a French female assassin, but also male Israeli assassins that were also selected to kill me. They are joint state operation. This is just what happens, you know, when your girlfriend finds out about the Rockefellers and lizard people. There's like that 9-month period, I think, where you just, as soon as you get woke to something, you're super stressed out and you don't know to sleep at night. And that's
the way that I can
everybody.
I can most relate to this one is if when I was younger and you go and see a karate movie and for the next 3 days you're a karate expert, right?
Yeah, but she's been doing this for years. She feels like she's like a newcomer to conspiracy theory for the last freaking however many years it's been. It's not a new thing.
She's milking it like a whale. It's true.
She's
but I don't think
milking the whole thing. Yeah, it's true.
I don't think she was the same kind of conspiracy theorist to start with. She started out as a, there's a racial conspiracy. Now there's a human racial conspiracy, right? There's the reptilian mark of Cain. And first there was the racial conspiracy with then there's nobility and the Rockefellers. And she was so enamored with, learning from some Joe Rogan 10-minute podcast clip with Johnny Bravo right? Or Eric Bravo, what's his name? Eddie Bravo. Eddie Bravo did that clip about the Rockefeller education, and that's been her thing for several years, and now it's lizard people. She must have seen our David Icke interview. That's the only explanation, right? I got
a theory. Brandon Fraser, man. A lot of the topics that we're talking about, including the whale. Do you guys know about the whale?
Yeah, the movie The Whale. He's obese and he can't stand.
Oh, cry my eyes out, dude. I tried to watch it a couple times. I mean, I did watch it a couple times, and I cried more the second time I saw it than the first.
Was that Aronofsky or no?
Yeah. And it's, I think, interesting because he cannot stand. So it's like he's prostrated before God, which isn't just a metaphor, because there's constantly the false Mormon missionary who wants to be a Mormon missionary but isn't one. Very relatable, right?
Well, it's because of his boyfriend wouldn't eat, so he's eating to feed his dead boyfriend. It's fucking heavy, dude. Yeah. Anyway, what did you have, Will? You got a something?
No, there's just all of these. I'm starting to wonder if all of these things are related to these concepts, because I'm noticing like the mummy posters all have the mummy with its mouth open. You get what I mean?
Yeah. They're making a new mummy with Brendan Fraser, right? You heard that?
Monkey bone? You guys know the monkey bone?
For sure. And it's like Hitler. He uses his left hand to draw, right? Hitler put his right hand behind his back after 30 some odd years as a Rosicrucian, which is why he was using his left hand so much. And there's something that happens to your brain. If you have a stroke and you have to learn to use the other side of your body, then the other side of your brain becomes larger, right? And to replace that. But if both sides of your hemispheres are fine, they start to break apart because they start sending mixed signals. You become somewhat Siamese, and this is a Rosicrucian technique for androgyny.
I have to respond to the comments here where somebody says, I could imagine David crying hella loud in the movie theater. First of all, I didn't watch it in the movie theater. And if you want to understand how I cried during it, if you could visualize a tear just running down my face,
like an Italian Native American.
Like I'm not but it's like,
it's not like me when I watch Brother Bear. I don't want to even bring up Brother Bear.
It takes a lot to get a tear out of my face from a movie, but man, that one did it.
My heart. Yeah. They're definitely.
Which one always gets me, by the way, is the Bill Hicks documentary. I can't watch the Bill Hicks documentary without tearing up.
I can see that. Yeah, especially when he goes to Waco. Which documentary?
Bill Hicks.
I know, but there's several Bill Hicks documentaries. Are you talking about the one where they kind of like animate it throughout? Like
and they talk. Okay. They really emphasize the mushroom trip, and then it gets into like that he gets cancer and dies.
Iron Eyes Cody, somebody says. Iron Eyes Cody, by the way, for anybody who didn't catch this, in The Shining, when they say loser has to keep America clean, that's what they're referencing. When they run to race each other, when Wendy and Danny race to the maze and they say loser has to keep America clean, they're referencing Iron Eyes Cody, in case you missed it. Yeah, because the place was built on ancient Indian burial ground, and the spot where they're running to go do that race was exactly the spot where earlier in the film they said that they built a place on ancient Indian burial ground and had to fend off several Indian attacks, which corresponds to Poltergeist being built on a graveyard. But yeah, anyway.
I need a mummy poster, or I need David to have the mummy poster for his.
I can give you a print of the mummy poster. Do you really want one?
I just want you to have it up on your wall somewhere. I feel.
You want it in my house?
I feel like that's where it belongs. I can't take care of anything. I live out of a backpack. I don't know if it'll ever.
If we're talking Brendan Fraser too, don't skip over I believe his comeback was originally in Doom Patrol, which was before even Whale, because he disappeared for a while after Monkey Bone, and then Doom Patrol I think is another DC comic series, but it lives somewhat adjacent to the superhero series.
Oh right, there's not a poster. I'm looking at the posters. What? See, I feel like Journey to the Center of the Earth has to do with the bowels of the earth, so to speak.
Right. It does. Yeah.
Right.
Totally. I do.
They live off of giant mushrooms in that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Was Fraser Encino Man?
Yeah, he's Encino Man.
Every
single Brendan Fraser movie is actually a reference to how his character is Encino Man, except for maybe The Mummy. But even then, I wonder if there's a connection. But if you watch Encino Man,
the cheese is old and moldy.
He eats the frog in Encino Man. Then there's Meet the Parents. No, Son-in-Law. In Son-in-Law, Pauly Shore is at a college, and then you see during the party, Encino Man is frying a frog with a chemistry set, in the room. So you realize that the Encino Man has gone to college. And then there's In the Army now, where Pauly Shore is in the Army, and they're at a military base, and they're all eating. He's like, have you had the MRIs or the MS, whatever the
But
the
does this
food?
go beyond the Pauly
Basic
Shore, Brendan
bug,
Fraser
man.
movies? Is it Blast from the Past? What do you got?
I don't
Is
know.
he eating
I
a
was
frog
thinking-
in the whale at one point?
What about
You should.
Bedazzled?
Bedazzled's-
Ooh, the
I don't
Bedazzled
know.
remake. I prefer the original. I haven't made it through the remake. Is it good?
Okay.
Is it worth going through the whole thing, or?
I have
So,
no
Blast-
idea. It was from like
Oh.
2000.
It's pretty good. I think it is. You know, he becomes
Blast
like
from the Past
a
would be the belly of the
Chapo.
whale, right? Blast from the Past would be the belly of the whale
Okay.
because you're
Yeah.
stuck in like you're totally like separated from
they're-
everything.
They're
Dr.
all
Pepper.
I
about
guess that would be
stuck,
Boiled-
Encino
right?
Man too.
Boiled Dr. Pepper.
All,
That's
all of them are about being stuck. Because in Encino Man, he's stuck. In The Whale, he's stuck. Right. In
Right.
Blast from the Past, he's stuck.
Good
In,
point.
in
You're-
Monkey Bone, he's stuck.
You're
Biodome?
like,
No,
the
that he wasn't in
process,
that. Never
like,
mind.
That was another
food
Pauly Shore one.
blockage.
Yeah, no,
Even
he's not in
brain
it.
candy, I guess, would be considered.
I was gonna bring up Brain Candy because he's in Brain Candy and he's like
Which
eating.
one's Brain Candy?
Brain Candy?
It's in the Hall movie
You've not seen Brain
with
Candy?
Stummies.
I might have. It's
Oh
not
my
pulling anything
god,
up.
it's got to pull up. So Brain Candy is a great movie where they invent an antidepressant that latches onto your most recent happy memory and it plays over and over in your mind, and they rush it through process, and you need to see Brain Candy. And in
It's
it,
practically
Brendan-
based on a true story. It's happened so many times. The
and Brain
equivalent.
Candy has Brendan Fraser as one of the test groups, and everyone's getting a different pill, and he's got all this acne on his face. Like, it's sugar, isn't it? I can tell it's sugar. You're ruining my skin with. I want the real pill. Give me the pill that's making them happy. And they're like, no, you can't know. This is blind study. I'm like, I can tell it's not working. I can tell it's sugar. God. What about
Oh, man, that
what
comes
about
weird.
Chomsky's deeper ties with Epstein? Did you see this already? I mean, this was always obvious,
No,
but
but-
No, not
There's something
Chomsky.
up with Chomsky. I've been saying this for years. Ever since he said that the 9/11 commission report was the final word on 9/11, I've been like, because I used to sit. We have a local bookstore that Andreas knows called Logos that is no longer in existence, and I loved it, and because you could sit in there all day downstairs and just read, and no one would bother you. They had chairs. It was just, and I read so much Noam Chomsky, and I was like, I like Noam Chomsky. He's got a good perspective. And then maybe there's things I didn't understand. I maybe thought I did, but whatever the case, this whole shift that happened with him post 9/11, I'm like, he's got to be compromised. I've been saying it for years. I'm like, what happened? It can't just be age. He was so
Gatekeeper.
brilliant. What?
No, because he's been gatekeeping for years. That had nothing to do with age.
Yeah, there's
It's
gatekeeping, but
academia.
there's something
But-
another level to just paying no more discussion on this.
But the
Like,
whole
what
thing
the
was
hell?
just academia. He was married to academia, and when academia is the ship and it slowly steers a certain direction, he's like on board for it.
I don't know, man. I think he's compromised. I'm
I
gonna
mean, he
stick
clearly
with
is ever since he killed Pat Tillman, right? So I mean,
that.
you know,
What?
this Pat Tillman
No.
was Pat. You know about Pat Tillman?
This is the friendly fire that they.
So Pat Tillman got really into. He was a patriot who got really into conspiracy theories. He started to realize what was actually going on in Afghanistan and Iraq, and then he started becoming. He was an amazing football star, from I think it's the Arizona Cardinals, born in Fremont, California. Really interesting guy. And he wrote Chomsky and planned on meeting Chomsky, and he sent him a bunch of information about what the deep state was doing. Look at all of his freaking awards, right? He was a superhero. And he ended up writing Chomsky, and very shortly after that, he was taken out in a friendly fire. And so it's always been kind of an interesting conspiracy that Chomsky was responsible for that, for knowing that Tillman knew about human trafficking and possibly Epstein.
Yeah,
right?
I wouldn't argue that he hasn't been a gatekeeper forever intellectually and scholarly,
in
whatever.
art.
But I'm talking about like another level that goes beyond just gatekeeping, but like don't talk about this kind of stuff. It's like,
They're
dude,
both
you're
like-
trying to stop conversations. What?
They're atheists, right? Aren't they both known for being atheists?
Yeah, Chomsky was not only an atheist, but a socialist, a democratic socialist. And he's most famous for riling up Bill Buckley, right? Bill Buckley had a debate with him in the 60s. And this was kind of Bill Buckley, Chomsky. This was the debate that really kind of ended the McCarthy era in a lot of ways. The McCarthy era was still sort of a thing. We were trying to make sure America didn't have communist infiltrators because it was a real threat from another nation. Ideologically, it was more about the fact that it was from another nation that was trying to take over the United States. This is Chomsky when he's this young kind of Ralph Nader looking.
Look
buck.
at him.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
He
and so
looks
and
like
the,
a-
and then my hero,
Gordon
of course,
Peterson.
William Buckley Jr. William Buckley Jr., who wrote Blackie Oaks, which is really just his experiences with the CIA 20 years earlier, including giving a kiss to the Queen of England as a young agent in the OSS. And he published all of his travails in the CIA with their permission as a fiction, right? As, about this character, Blackie Oaks. Blackie, Black Eye, right? Black.
Yeah.
Oaks.
My dad used to have a dog named William F. Buckley.
That's adorable. Blackford Oaks is the James Bond of America, and I think it's Saving the Queen is the first book that he put out about this.
Yeah.
And if you want to know, things about the CIA from the 50s, then reading Buckley is a great source of that, because he tells you exactly what really happened to him in a lot of ways, give or take a few of the important stories. Anyway, in this interview, and you should also do well to look up all of William Buckley's episodes, because he had interviews with some of the most interesting people, CIA agents, Vatican assassins, propagandists.
Most of our times.
When Tom Waits was asked who his favorite musicians were, he named William F. Buckley.
That might have been a different Buckley, but that could be true.
No, I'm pretty sure it was him.
Really? That's good. Well, he told in this interview, and I think you've also seen at the beginning of the scene with the 101 Dalmatians. There's a scene where they're watching, 101 Dalmatians criminal television game show scene. There's this scene right here. I feel like there's a reference because it sounds like Bill Buckley when this guy is doing this kind of interview with him. It's like, yes,
Oh yeah.
Tune in next time for another exciting episode where we interview a criminal, and you'll be back on the game show. Well,
Hey,
in this, Bill Buckley tells Chomsky, he says, "Now listen here, be quiet, young man, or I'll smack that face right off of your, queer body," something like that. It was the only time he ever really lost his cool, right?
His composure,
yeah, which was cool of him to do. Actually,
That was with Chomsky. He said that.
He said that to Chomsky.
I thought it was Gore Vidal.
No, and in fact, I think Gore Vidal might have been his only equal. You know what I mean? In terms of the dynamic, Gore Vidal was fascinating and intellectual and very queer, and so it was very difficult because Bill Buckley is fascinating, intellectual, and very queer. Obviously, so they're acting kind of straight together, but Gore Vidal was a bit more liberated. He's like, I don't have to pretend to have these values that you're trying to uphold for other people, for your plebs,
Do you know the interview? Sorry, I'm going to go there again because it's hilarious. But the interview with Tom Waits, it's in Australia, the year that Heath Ledger was born, who was born in Australia, right? Where he's basically being the Joker as portrayed by Heath Ledger completely through the whole interview. Do you know about this? So it's uncanny. Like he is the Joker. And it just it screams of this is it. So yeah. So at some point in this in this interview here, he asks who his favorite musicians are. I think he even names Lenny Bruce or something like that. He's saying different people who aren't musicians. So that was a joke. And then when he says William Buckley, if I recall correctly, he says William Buckley. And he goes, you know who that is? And he's like, yeah, but the host is like, yeah, but we're not going to talk about him here, And I was like, oh, why is he so edgy? And I guess that's why, he's just.
But there's a joke there. He's also talking about Bill Buckley instead of referencing Jeff Buckley, right? I think that's.
Yeah, I think that's the joke because he doesn't say Jeff Buckley.
Yeah. Right. Which is good because I interviewed Joe Trepishin, who is. He was a propagandist for NATO in Croatia and also worked on the Muppets. And he talked about how he wrote a book called Alien Abductee Survivor Handbook, which was how to survive an alien abduction and what to do and what to say to get through it safely. And that was Jeff Buckley's favorite book, apparently. Jeff Buckley was obsessed with alien abduction. and thought that it had happened to him a number of times before he ended up dead. You know,
didn't
the
know
best
that.
celebrities. Yeah, it's an interesting
Well,
thing.
well, man, was it a Jim Sullivan? I think there was a guy that had an album called UFO, or had a song on it called UFO. It was about him being abducted by a UFO, and then he disappeared. It was like a one-hit wonder. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah,
It is Jim
1970.
Sullivan, yeah.
Totally. And it mentions the Skull and Bones or something, or it talks about Rosie. I think is this like the Rosie Crucians is the single from the album.
Oh wow. I gotta listen to this. This is
Oh,
this is
it's
like
got a
here?
phenomenal song on it. I don't know if the whole album, but like a good majority, it's definitely worth listening.
I think it's an album to listen to, not a single. You should listen to the whole album. It's only 28 minutes, so it's a good album though. It's really important. Light in the Attic founder Matt Sullivan, no relation, discovered the record while surfing obscure music blogs. Transfixed by the cover, he wrote about the UFO connection and said that he had similarly been abducted by aliens too. So there's a number of people that were. I mean, so the songs are Jerome, Plain as Your Eye Can See, Roll Back the Time. Right, so time traveling aliens, Whistle Stop, Rosie, Highway, UFO, So Natural, Johnny, and the final song is Sandman at 23:1.
UFOs, which are really, yeah, you got it, time machines.
I mean, there's a lot of time dilation. A lot of people who've been abducted talk about time dilation. So it's not a new idea that they're outside of time in this sort of rearranging nonlinear space that they're able to. We were talking about this idea: if you were to knock over a child's Lego set and then you were in the night while the child's asleep, put it back together, then it's the same Legos put back into the same order. Is it the same structure that it was before? And this is a metaphor for quantum entanglement, because you might be experiencing linear time because this is how radiation arranges things. But if you were to put those things back, would you just be in that time again, not in a new time, because it's the same material? So are you just back in that time? And this is probably what they're able to do, right?
Word.
I like it.
Hey, we were talking about Chomsky before, and whenever his name came up, like back when he was a little bit more relevant, I guess, you'd also hear Howard Zinn. And I think his thing was people's history of
the United
States, right? What happened to Howard Zinn?
I don't know. Is he still doing it? Is he still kicking around? Is he alive still? I don't know. See, he died 2010, and he romanticized pre-Columbian history. I think Zizek talks about this kind of person, people that think that they have sort of an inversion of Eurocentricity, and it's still a Eurocentricity to think, wow, it's like Henry David Thoreau. You think, wow, it's so great what nature provides, without realizing that nature consumes itself and everyone in it, right? If you were to be tied up to a tree, your hubcaps would be missing by morning, the same as if you were in New York City. The city is a jungle, they say, for a reason. The jungle is actually the city's an effigy of a jungle. So he didn't understand this, and he talks about the Arawak Indians and how great they were, that they slept in these giant orgiastic tents, collectives.
Right, the noble savage.
But this is because he was a Bolshevik, not because he was an Enlightenment philosopher. He was just fascinated by the.
Right, this sounds more like economics, like that sleeping under the same bridge, saying, and where that stems from is the idea that the rich person and the poor person both are subject to the law, that you're not allowed to sleep under the bridge. But the joke of it is that obviously the rich person has no reason why they need to sleep under a bridge, whereas the poor person might, because they don't have a freaking home. So
everything's fun on an alien vacation. Anywhere is good to visit if you're wealthy, right? And the struggle is real in nature. And Zinn wasn't really, I don't think he really appreciated that. Not to say America is perfect or that European culture is perfect either, but it's just as dangerous to say that indigenous cultures and alternatives to European cultures are inferior as it is to say they're superior. They're just another way of life, and they're not that different. And David's brought this point up before. When you meet people from different cultures who travel around the world, and then they think they're special, they're like, oh, we have this really unique culture here. We have this really unique practice where we feed guests. We have
we're a food culture. Yeah. Oh, really? You like food here? We are a food food people. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Everybody has it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's real.
There's a whole
right?
bunch
I
of
don't know.
stuff that's built around culture being food or food being culture, and the aspects of like the stuff that we find to be almost delicatessen, like sushi, is uncooked. Yet the stuff that is considered to be for the poor is the most cooked, like porridge or something that just sits there stewing the whole time. So
Yeah.
I don't know, culture. I think culture and food. I think we've been talking about it. I think the great thing about Think Tank is like if you pay attention to the people who actually listen to us out there, they're kind of probably they're realizing that we're knocking on all of these patterns doors without ever realizing we're even talking about the same thing like over and over and over. They seem to be themed. Think tanks are themed.
It's pretty great to have access to the F chat to see the things that the chat are talking about as well. It's nice to be able to look back into the looking glass. It's a nice quality that
Somebody was making me laugh earlier in the chat on the side here. It wasn't F chat, but they're like slow down the chat. Like it's going too fast or something. It's just like it was reminding me of like I just saw the South Park episode from this last season where they're doing ketamine, and then like Stan's dad is like, slow down the porch, like the porch, like the porch is moving too fast. Like, I don't know how we're supposed to slow down the chat. People are going to comment or they're not going to comment. I don't know. Good luck.
The Moose Lodge. Apparently, Masonic is trending on Twitter right now. There's a lot of Masonic symbols that are being pushed to the front line. What was the one I saw earlier? Jordan Maxwell talking about. There was a Jordan Maxwell post earlier talking about the Masonic ley lines. Right. This was a major point that the emulation of nature, like Scott Onstad has talked about, that these are not.
Is this ley lines? No, this is infrastructure. This is what was built into the city.
Well, it's all of it, because the ley lines are just where it's at in relation to latitude, longitude. But then on top of that, there's also the architecture of downtown DC itself, which at like 100% has Masonic and occult connections. It's like objective reality.
Right, but when we say ley lines, look at that Wikipedia. How long do you scroll down before it'll say Blavatsky, if at all? Isn't she the first person to introduce the idea of the ley line?
I don't think she's the first. I think she's
ley line, specifically the word ley line.
So I'm trying to find it.
Specifically, I'm almost positive, unless there's some
Mandela
effect.
Catholic churches built their churches on ley lines. I'm trying to remember the word for it. Germans have a ley line word for where the Catholic churches
are ley lines different than parallels?
Yes.
Yes.
But it depends on who you talk to. That they'll tell you that it.
Okay.
Vortex,
so if you look up, so Blavatsky was just kind of. Let me type in D here, because if you type in, this is a different Heilige Linien are the holy lines, right? Which was a concept proposed by Wilhelm Teut, a German evangelical person who connects various sacred sites and objects to spiritual significance in Germany.
What year?
Right. Let's find out. I know that when I went to Germany and I was testing the waters on conspiracy theories, what I could talk about, I said, have you heard of this idea of ley lines? And I looked up the translation and they said, oh, holy lines, Heilige Linien. Yeah, of course. This is not a question. Everything is on. Churches are built with straight lines to other churches. And these parallels are on sacred sites because the churches are built on places that are holy places, because people would go to where a saint had died. I mean, people were constantly doing these religious tourism. This was a very popular thing in the 15th, 16th century, even longer, even before and after. And they would go to places based on which saint and martyr had some relic, and the relics would be at these important holy sites.
When was this person alive? I'm not familiar with them.
Let's see here.
Relics are like just the bones, right? Aren't they just?
No,
like a nice word for someone's bones.
Relics can be a lot of things. They could be your arm. I mean, bones, flesh, a toenail clipping of Christ. So let's see. He was born 1860 and died 1942 in Detmold, and he was a German cleric. Right?
Yeah. Was he a Theosophist? What's happening?
He was a Lutheran, I think. He was a Protestant priest.
He studied theology and philosophy. But yeah, no. So, but you've seen that depiction from Blavatsky, the Theosophical ley line map. So, like, my question is, did anybody actually like represent this? Like, this is what they are. These are the holy lines, like in map form prior to Theosophy. I don't know. I'm not going to claim to know because I could stand reflected.
I feel like the issue was that the Catholic Church or any of these churches were built on these holy lines, and so let me see if I can type in.
You could find the one from Theosophy and when it was made, and see if there's a map of ley lines that predates it. I'd be curious.
True. Also, can ask ChatGPT really quickly. Let's see here. William Toit, right? William Toit.
Wilhelm.
It's a good name. Okay. Does Blavatsky's work on ley lines predate the holy lines, and was William Toit's lines the first mention of these holy lines? Okay, let's see here. I think Blavatsky is before, arguably, at least his death.
They coincided, clearly.
Yeah.
Ticker.
Gosh, it takes forever to load sometimes. Come on, ChatGPT.
It's got to spit out its card with the holes in it.
It's just going to compliment you whenever it comes back.
That's a great
what a good question.
Great question.
Great question. That's what exactly says. Great question. Short answer, no. There's no historical evidence that Blavatsky or early Theosophy taught about ley lines or holy lines in the same way as letter ley line theorist. And yes, well, yeah, that dude seems to be among the first explicit modern articulations.
Oh, well, this is bullshit. When it says here, no direct mention of ley lines from Blavatsky, is that what it's saying? The concept of ley lines, straight alignment, sacred place. Yeah, that's absolute bullshit. This is a problem with like a lot, like when you do searches for some of these things, like you have to read books, man. Like, do they not have access? Are they going through all the PDFs? Got to put.
No, they're doing the simplest answer first. You can readjust or like steer it and say, "Are you sure?"
Yeah,
that
this
Blavatsky...
is what's annoying about AI is you got to fucking train it. You're like, here's the actual map that they drew from the Theosophical Society.
There's very specific models. There's LLMs that are trained just on occult materials. The main ones is Trismegistus. There's another one called Sybil AI, and these ones were trained on all the different occult manuals that you would need. They probably have a Veil of Isis that are like, inside of their training versus ChatGPT, which has got everything.
Right. Yeah. No, that if we really wanted to get down to the bottom of this, we'd have to use one of those specialized.
What are we trying to ask it?
I guess who cares really? It's just a fine point about what and we use the term ley line, and I made a claim that I'm pretty confident in, but I'm not absolute, that Theosophy was the first to introduce a map that was like, here are the sacred lines around the planet and where they correspond to and where they intersect or whatever.
So I would like to interject because there's an American version of ley lines that doesn't necessarily have to do with lines or lineage. I don't know if anybody's worked out that connection point, but are you guys familiar with Lauren Coleman? I know that David is,
of course,
but Paranoid American, do you know who Lauren Coleman is?
No.
That's a different Lauren Coleman there.
Put in Lauren Coleman.
It's also
Bigfoot.
not spelled right. Yeah.
How do I spell it?
Just put Bigfoot and that should get you there.
Yeah. He's the world's leading expert on Bigfoot.
Lauren Bigfoot. Okay. Yeah, I think I have seen Lauren Coleman's work a bit.
Lauren Coleman is a scene kid. Like he used to put out Synchro Mystic of the Year awards for a while there before the Facebook Wars of 2016. But he specifically came up with this idea with the guy who wrote Mothman Prophecies named John Keel, probably in the 70s. That most little areas that have a high coincidence rating of different types of reports, as far as like pterodactyl reports, Mothman reports, UFO reports, cryptoids. They were all named after basically places that had the name devil in them, whether it be in different languages or not. Lauren Coleman is the guy who originally coined the phrase for the Bridgewater Triangle, which is a territory that even today still has like a lot of activity. And he kind of like where we get the idea of vortexes, but he used synchromysticism to kind of label them. And I remember I was driving through northern Arkansas and on a whim through this place called like Devil's Den. And as soon as I drove through it, because of the work that Lauren Coleman has done, I was like, this place, I know it's got like cryptids. I know it's got like alien abductions. I know it's got like weird, mysterious murders or missing people shit. And they like the Devil's Den or something named a la Diabla or the Canyon or some shit like that always seems to have those like occurrences. Almost like the anti-ley lines.
Well, I think that there are ley lines in that there are anomalous events at these ley lines. A lot of the time, they're like we were talking about Austin, and Nicole Wordsmith's aware of this serial killer story going on, right? Where they're finding 20 people in the Lady Lake, 32 people in this lake, 19 people in that lake, all over the place, particularly Lady Lake. And the politicians are saying it's not actually connected. It's just probably just that homeless people are dying or something, but it seems too anomalous. So either there is a serial killer who's associated with the politician somehow and is protected, or Nicole Wordsmith's idea was, that it's supernatural, right? What were you saying?
Oh, yeah. I think it's like sirens or something. I think that they're being lured in by some sort of like mystical being. And that's why they say there's no killer, is because there is no like physical killer, but it's just like a supernatural.
And a lot of these lakes are associated with vortices, that there are lakes where there are these places, so like Michigan Lake with the submarines and the opening of the earth, and this ancient, maybe outside of time, Tartaria idea that there's something being built outside of time in our time in places particularly less affected by butterfly effect.
Yeah, Lake Travis also has like
Sorry. Anna, sorry.
Oh, so I was just gonna say Lake Travis in Austin also has like a devil. Is it Devil's Cove or God? I can't remember. It's been forever since I've been there, but it has its own like devil's part, and people go dying in there all the time. I mean, yes, there's alcohol and stuff, but like I know someone's best friend was like just went down a slide and like never came back up. Yeah, Devil's Cove.
A lot of them have like foreign names. Like a lot of them have Indian names because the Indians had the same problems with the locations that modern Americans people have with them. Like people come up missing and so forth. And I guess it would automatically be tied to sirens or other ideas of like fairy people that would like coax travelers deeper into the woods and then get them lost.
Is this like the missing 411?
Missing information? What?
No, I think I have that number right. The missing 411 is
parks
reference to all these different natural parks that people go missing at constantly, and that if you were to take a map of these underground tunnels that are all throughout the U.S. and then a map of the people that go missing, they almost line up. Like there were two different maps that just gets overlaid with like an onion skin.
Is it like the 37th parallel? How that's like related to so many cattle mutilations and UFO abductions?
So the thing that's interesting about a lot of the missing 411 is that I've seen a lot of these stories and they connect to, again, the time travel idea. I think we talked about this at one point. This idea that people go missing in these places and then they'll see someone. Like there's a little girl who went missing in Yosemite and she got lost, and then some lady found her. And so she's with this lady and the lady was lost as well. So they spent some time together. I think they spent a night in the woods, and the next day they found the little girl. The only difference was it had been 20 days that the girl was missing, and only felt time dilation. It only felt like a single day. And she described this woman who was taking care of her, but the woman went missing. Again, the girl ended up running back and the woman was gone. but she described the woman and what she was wearing and who she was like, what she looked like. And they said that there was a woman that looked just like that who went missing in Yosemite 20, 40 years earlier. And so this idea.
Okay, I got a sync here because of Untamed with Eric Bana. Have you seen this series here? Okay, so there's a series that basically corresponds to the amount of individuals who come up missing in national parks. He has a whole, but I just realized when you said time traveling, he's the time traveler's wife guy, right? Like Eric Bana kind of, he carries the symbolism of time traveling around with him and some of his other stuff. And it's just weird because it touches this untamed idea of somebody coming up missing, and then they go through their past. Wow, that's cool. It's like a sync of a time traveling thing going on.
There's another one where in the Carolinas, I think it's in North Carolina, a boy went missing. They went looking for this boy. This is like 20, 30 years ago, or maybe even longer. It might have been 40 now. This boy goes missing and they can't find him. They look for like over a year and they can't find anyone. But then eventually they find his shoes, and his shoes are in a place that they'd been looking over and over again. But the shoes are brand new and clean. Basically, they're just left there. And then about 10 years later, they find his notebook, and his notebook is brand new. It hasn't aged at all. And then they find his compass and some other things another 10 years after that. And again, it looks brand new, like it's just been left there in a place where they'd looked over and over again. And it's in a place that Native Americans had talked about, where the Valley of the Dead or something, but they don't mean that this is where they bury people, but this is where people from the past interact with people that are living. And so they go out there on these quests to do rites of adulthood and be gone for 3 days, and they'd speak to the ancients, right? So that this, again, a place that already has this history of interacting with people outside of time.
Wow.
I'm trying to remember there's a movie that's like about time travel in a cave that's like so low budget. It's like a C movie, but it's so goddamn good. And I can't remember the name of it.
Oh yeah, and they have like conquistadors in the cave.
And have you seen that?
I know what you're talking about. And it's like
what year is the
modern
movie from?
people get stuck in these time loops.
Relatively recently.
Time travel.
That movie Palm Springs, they go into a cave.
They wake up in
this is it.
Wake up in, the time trap. Because it's like a period where they're like sitting on cars looking at like dinosaurs, and they're like, this has been a good date or something like that.
This movie is like so low budget but so entertaining. I recommend it.
I have a theory that the more true
the Time Traveler, to Loop, the movie that you and I watched, Bill.
I have a theory that the more true a time traveler, or the more true a movie is, then the more absurd and low budget the movie has to be. They have to proportionally make it less serious takeable of a film in order that you're not overwhelmed by the truth in it.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Or they get like low ratings on like Rotten Tomatoes and stuff.
Yeah,
it's a good sign usually.
Yeah.
But see, that's weird because you try to talk about it. Like I tried to have a conversation about all of this Crowley shit about this Nightmare on Elm Street movie. And then it's like, they were like, well, which one are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, it was number 4. And it's almost like they get like the conversation's over. Like they're like, oh, 4, that was a really bad movie.
That is actually a particularly bad one. And the most entertaining part about it is Andras. But no, like all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies have like pretty bad acting, but like that one in particular is like really hard. Like it's really bad.
What was the theme on 4?
That's like the master, the Dream Master.
It was the beginning of the lore of them like fight. There was one before that one, I think, number 3, where they were like had a team that fought
and that's Patricia Arquette. And that,
that was one of the better ones. I mean, not the best one, but that was one of the better ones.
Yeah.
Doesn't 4 have Freddy Krueger as the meatballs on the pizza?
Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
That's
isn't he a pedophile?
Andras Jones. Yeah. Andras Jones is the man on the pizza.
He was the man on the pizza.
Andras is the man on the pizza.
So right, because which came out, he fought Freddy without Freddy being in the scene. So because and it had something to do with the makeup issue that day, where it was like they weren't able to get Freddy together, so
Oh,
they
he's
just it shot
invisible.
anyway, and so he's like Andras is like kung fu fighting, but he's fighting the air, and like it's like, but Freddy's he's invisible in this scene. It's the only time in the
Right,
whole franchise where Freddy fights somebody, but he's just not there in the scene. It's weird.
right.
which is actually scarier in a sense, right? There's
See, it
another.
doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter. It does, like the relevance of a movie. Like Bill and I have had this. I don't know if it's because I had too much ecstasy or some shit. Like there's no serotonin. Like I have no idea what it is. But like I'll go and watch a movie, and it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's no. I think that the relevance of the meaning behind the movie, and see people are like there's no extra there's like sub context to everything,
Sure.
like
Right.
everything down to a fucking beer can or a candy wrapper.
I wanted to bring up because Ann Nicole Wordsmith had a pretty good post about this yesterday. Because yesterday, in terms of time travel and assassin synchronicity to food, there's the JFK assassination that was yesterday, and you had this great post talking about 11/22. Today's the 23rd. Is the infamous JFK death on Elm Street, where we all got Oswald. JFK was the first Roman Catholic president. 11/22 relates to the Society of Jesus. 11 plus 22 equals 33, and he was shot in the 33rd parallel. JFK is also tied to the 187 homicide code. 11/22 minutes is 18.7 hours. There are 187 chapters in the Torah. The Matrix operates on the creation through destruction, and he died on the same day as the writer of Clockwork Orange. Aldous Huxley and C.S. Lewis. JFK 11/22/187. Jumanji.
Wait, Anthony Burgess died the same day and year as well?
Not the
Really?
same year. He was in a different
Oh,
year.
that wouldn't have made any sense, yeah, for it to be the same year. Because okay, but you're saying that Aldous Huxley did die the same year,
Yeah, C.S.
same
Lewis
day,
and
and
Aldous Huxley and
Day.
JFK all died on the same day in the same year.
wow. And so
Right,
you know what also happened that day? Can we talk about all those?
Can we also?
things?
Can I also just really quickly say that C.S.
There's a
Lewis's
nuclear
Chronicles of
blast
Narnia?
named
What is
Grays.
the sync with C.S. Lewis is that the Chronicles of Narnia is about time dilation, right?
Sure.
It's a hugely important aspect of the story that these kids spend years of their lives, and then they go through the the chamber, the closet, the wardrobe. They go through the wardrobe, in the Lions
Right.
Room's wardrobe, and they return back to their own time. And it's
Right.
into
That
a
has a lot to
vortices
do
in a
with food,
forest.
too.
And I
That has
bring
a lot
that.
to do with food. Like even the never-ending story. Like the more food he eats, the more he forgets where he came from, so to speak. Like
I wanted to bring it up because of Barely Humans video. We've all seen 9/11. Back to the Future predicts 9/11. We're all familiar, I hope, at this point. It's one of the most important YouTube videos ever made. Is this story that Back to the Future? I would say that for sure. But one of the ones that are a little bit less well sung, if you look at the numbers, this is kept a lot smaller. And I think the reason is because it's very important is that Back to the Future is about JFK as well, right?
Right.
And the lot where the car has to be struck by lightning under the clock tower. This is very much Dealey Plaza. It's designed to look like Dealey Plaza with the triangle, the courthouse, the clock tower, and there's even the fact that the car is driving at just the right speed so that it's struck at the exact correct moment, which creates this time dilation, time loop, and also change to our linear time. The changes creates a completely new reality. In that film, in Back to the Future 2, the sequel, when he goes to buy the Gray's Sports Almanac, you see a bust of JFK where JFK's head actually is
Yeah.
cut right where his head is shot and explodes, right? That's the line on his head. It's simply a book stop bust.
Oh my gosh.
Right. So there's a big part of this is that they're eating together. I don't know if I see this is the scene. He meets them. They're watching TV. He's seen it
Over there by
before.
John F. Kennedy Drive.
John F. Kennedy Drive. Who the hell is John
F. Kennedy?
Who the hell is John F. Kennedy? Because it doesn't exist in this timeline, not yet. It has to happen. And there's a clock behind him that kind of insinuates, let's say, that this is happening, and also that he's wearing the naval. That they think he's like wearing a life preserver from the Navy,
Poor
because the
things, he's
Navy in
gonna
Philadelphia
drown.
experiment, the Philadelphia experiment
Ah,
in the Navy
that's
time
nice.
dilation,
I like that.
with the triangle with the antennas, right? I think this is
Totally.
a major point in that one.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's good.
that's a good one. Oh, dude. So yeah, so I don't know, JFK. Any other ones that you wanted to bring up about
Well,
JFK?
he
and
connects it too to
Jackie?
the alien thing, because the Greys almanac insinuating the Greys, and then there was, what is it? And this ties in with not a ley line, but the parallel, the where what's the thing with Roswell and the nuclear experiment? What
Manhattan Project, that they're on the
yeah,
30th
Yeah.
parallel.
but anyway,
They're
I don't know if it's out that particular video,
really
but Joe
close.
has a few in the mix there, and one of them ties the Gray's almanac to the Trinity test. And
No, there was a
was it?
during the death of President Kennedy, after Kennedy was killed, like our whole government basically was put on shutdown, but there was still a nuclear test that was conducted that day, and that test was
Thank you.
called, its code name was called the Greys.
Right. Thank you.
Don't forget
Oh,
that the nuclear bomb test happened in Trinity.
yeah.
Right.
And it happened at 5:29, and I think that's
Los
JFK's birthday.
Alamos.
Oh shit.
All of that, it's like centered around Los Alamos, which is where the flats are, and Roswell is just right there. Everything's right on top of each other. That's
So
part of the
how does
whole
this connect
thing.
to Brendan Fraser with the store that he got the Gray's almanac being called Blast from the Past, which is that Brendan Fraser movie with Christopher Walken from Communion?
I mean, they think they're talking to God in that movie, right? Like the people
Well,
who work in the
Communion would be
store.
Gray, right? He
That's
would be
right. Yeah.
I think it's the Trinity,
Greys are
the
often
Father,
a
the
time-
Mother, and the Son. They meet, right? The Trinity.
Greys are
Mhm.
often associated with time because they're supposed to be us further in evolution who are coming
Right.
back to like whatever.
Yeah, totally. I actually believe that. I think that's what's happening. People are getting a vision of like evolutionary process of whatever we are in some archetypal realm in the future. Yeah.
I wonder how it relates to the gray matter in our brain. Because it's like
Oh,
the
yeah.
grays. We have reptilian brain and we have gray matter, and like those
Totally. So
The
that's
Cosmic
interesting.
Consciousness- the Cosmic Snake by Jeremy Narby. Is it Narby?
Yeah, great book. I forget, but that's a great book.
Well, he's led by synchronicity to think that there's certain aspects that you see during ayahuasca and stuff that are actually just you on a molecular level. So the whole idea of seeing snakes during ayahuasca or the caduceus and Hermes or whatever were actually like just your DNA, like the double helix. So the whole like grays or the grays being nothing more than gray matter in your brain, that tracks.
You know that yeah, I had that with ayahuasca, where this is the thing I just said. I the first time it ever occurred to me, and then I saw other people say it as well, was the first time I took ayahuasca. I kept seeing that image of the gray alien face, and I was like, oh shit, it's us. But what I want to say is, like, in that movie Communion, one of my favorite parts of it is when Christopher Walken he's being shown a gray alien, and they take their face off and it's a reptilian underneath, and his reaction to it is, no, that's not right, that's not what it is. Like he think it's like the Greys are trying to trick him or something, and he reacts, and it speaks to, like, when you say the gray matter, like the reptilian brain, gray matter, like there's something to that. Trippy.
Well, I mean, he doesn't know. Whitley Strieber doesn't know if he created the Greys or what. Like,
Right.
as far
Or
as
if it's an
like,
organic suit that gets generated so these interdimensional beings can communicate with people in our
there's definitely
dimension.
mentions of suit in the book Transformations. One of the aliens like pulls open a drawer full of suits, and he kind of does it with a flourish, like he's proud that there's all of these different skins that he can wear.
Right.
What about Mr. Foster? Ask Mr. Foster. Do you connect that with Charles Foster, perhaps? Charles Foster, the Salem, Massachusetts medium known for skin writing.
Oh my God.
because when he died, 1888. Right?
Whoa.
Jesus
Since
Christ.
1888. You're welcome.
Serious shit.
Is it pellet reading? Like poop reading?
Yeah, so I think skin writing is spirits' names and sigils would appear on skin parts, which is in The Exorcist. This idea that symbols were coming through the skin, right?
Or stigmata, is similar kind of thing.
Yeah, pellet reading is different. Pellet reading is a very clearly Masonic idea, right? The envelope trick, right? The clairvoyance effect. But he was doing it for an esoteric purpose. It wasn't right. It's kind of the handshake. Come on, don't tell me I'm wrong. I think that's right. The billet. So the paper's folded to look like a real question, the hand folding the real question, the phony paper exchange, the left hand masks the movement of the right hand, how like life, and the phony paper is picked up by the fingers of the right hand while the right thumb pushes the real question paper between the fingers in the left hand. This is pretty good, I think. And
is that where the paper in The Shining in the final photo, is that where they got?
Oh, right. It totally looks like that. Yeah, Jack's got his hand out if you look closely at it. Good point, Bill.
Yeah.
Good point, Bill.
Leveled up.
Not bad at all.
So when we look at the original photograph of the Shining that he impressed Jack Nicholson's face over, was that man holding that thing in his hand also? Or was that inserted by Kubrick?
Oh, wow. No, shit. You can look it up right now.
I'd be interested to know if the original photograph that we now know who that is in all likelihood, which is interesting. Doesn't he have a name SETI? Isn't it? No. It's like the Saturn satellite probe thing, whatever it was.
Where's that scene? I'm trying to look to find it. So what do I look for to find that picture?
Well, I mean, when the final photo. You put in the date, July 3rd or whatever, July 4th ball or whatever it is, July 4th ball. Excuse me.
Yeah, the rabbit hole on that real guy is pretty interesting.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, there it is, right there. Yeah.
So is that what he's holding in his hand there?
Interesting.
But yeah, so my question is, does this photograph the one that they took it from? What was the guy's name that we're saying that the actual guy who Jack is in the place of here? What was his name?
Italian name.
I thought it was the name. It was the same. It was spelled differently, but it was the same name as the thing that we sent to Saturn recently.
I just went and saw Now You See Me, Now You Don't.
Oh God.
Another sync to this is like clairvoyance, mysticism, and medium work is Elvis Presley. And I think Bill and I were talking about this earlier, right? Bill, the idea of Eliphas Levi and his kind of the interesting anagram sync, Alphonse Louis, Eliphas Levi, and Elvis Presley, Elvis Aaron Presley, like Aaronic priesthood, like the Cohen priesthood of Levi, right?
Totally.
And,
because Elvis has so many blue songs and connections with the color blue, and like I always associate the Levi's blue jeans somehow with the priest class.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something we've pointed to in the kids today, right? The Indigo tribe, right? The Indigo tribe and the Celtics, but also the Indigo children at this point. But the Indigo tribe is associated in the Marvel comic books, I think, to an extent. The Indigo lantern ring, right? And I don't have the picture I was trying to find. Levi priest clothes. Blue, what did you say? Patina? What?
The blue cochina.
Blue cochina. What's the blue cochina?
Isn't that the whole
the
Native American?
Oh, yeah. Which is actually a blue star cochina, which is the it's like indigo, really, though, right? That's the thing, which is Egyptian blue.
It was like the indigo children and all of that.
But it's cyan and teal. This is my color.
Blue God, Avatar.
You've noticed the striking resemblance between Elvis Presley and the Statue of Liberty.
And Darth Vader. Yeah. Wait, the Statue of Liberty and Elvis Presley, you said?
Yeah, they're almost identical, yeah.
Oh, his nose.
Look at a picture of the Statue of Liberty and then look at Elvis Presley. It's
Wasn't it supposed to be Lucifer?
About the priest breastplate,
right. It looks like that same painting that a Rothschild posed in front of with Marina Abramovic.
Can't unsee it.
Oh my god.
No. Now it's inserted.
Does the Statue of Liberty have Sanpaku eyes too?
Yeah, it does.
Wow.
And the
Right,
Statue
'cause
of
you can
Liberty
see
went
the
from
whites.
Statue of Liberty started out the same color as Elvis's fake tan, and then now is cyan.
Bill, I think we got some rustling. Hey, Bill.
I'll mute him, but I was kind of interested to hear it because if you can't see him, you want to
What?
know what he's up to.
We could also pretend like this is what a spirit box, right?
Yeah.
Santos Cassini was the original name. Santos
Thank you.
Cassini. And in the
Cassini.
original photo, he does have the little piece of paper.
Oh boy. Okay.
And any fish heads out there who know the song Say It To Me, Santos, if you read the lyrics to that song, it's very shining coded. And that song was written before the discovery of Santos Cassini. So it's amazing how one stupid photo like that can trigger so many different rabbit holes. But
they were
Cassini is
probably
the
in the
probe
know.
they sent out to space, right, with the golden record?
Yeah. Well, no, I thought Cassini was the one that they sent to Saturn.
I thought it was the one with the golden record that had like the blues song and the drawing of the human being and the DNA or something like that.
Voyager, isn't it?
What's that? Wasn't that just SETI sent a? Was that actually a probe? And oh yeah, you're right. Maybe I don't know. I have to look it up.
That's what he
Does anyone have
wants to do
Google?
now
Can
with,
anyone Google Cassini?
I just
Right.
typed in Santos Cassini, and all I got was the dance teacher. Is that the same person?
Yeah,
That's the guy.
that's
Okay.
him. Yeah,
So
and that's who's in that photo in the gold room. But beyond this, what we were wondering about is, and it's spelled slightly differently. Yeah, there it is. See, look at NASA right there. See Cassini height. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's what I got.
Pictures of Saturn, which is associated with Cronus, which is time.
Mm-hmm.
More-
Right.
Which is also
There you go.
the very beginning of 2000.
And we're dancing through time.
Right.
That's pretty good. Timeline. It's also cute. I don't know. Oh, yeah, there was a thing because Elon Musk created Grokpedia, and he wants to call it Galactica, right? It's going to be,
Right.
and Galactica, Encyclopedia Galactica, he plans on making copies and sending out into space to replace the SETI message to extraterrestrials. And I think that also kind of connects to this idea of the 3-eye atlas. I wanted to find, we talked about this a bit before, but I posted something about this idea, and I stole Maggot's picture to do it. Hold on. A little bit of Alf for you there, just because that's always important. And by the way, drink Xirtus mineral water. It's viscous, but it's good for you. So 3-eye is the Trinity. I am, I will, I create, right? This Trinity, an atlas which holds the world. So 3-eye, the Trinity that holds the world.
I think Axis holds Atlas, right? Axis and Atlas. So
Right.
yeah, Axis is what's actually holding up the cranium, and the cranium itself is Atlas.
So that was one of the magician's names, right? On the whole franchise for the magicians, the Now You See Me, his name is Atlas, and they have all of these jokes that, like, who was your dad, Map, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The Axis Mundi, right? Of course, from the Yggdrasil.
Right.
Which
right.
yeah, the Caduceus and the Axis. Well, so people were talking about 3-eye atlas breaking apart and saying to relax, which I thought was interesting because if they tell you to relax, isn't that the opposite of the useful psyop? The useful psyop is to say, "Wow, 3-eye atlas is coming for you." So are they trying to reassure people and calm people down for a reason? But they say Avi Loeb claimed that the comet broke apart near the sun, and I think that a better narrative for Ancient Aliens on the History Channel would be that the drones or the Sentinels would have detached from the mothership. That would have been the narrative shaping.
Right. Well, that was my first thought too. Yeah, when they said that, I was like, oh, so they just detached from the mothership. I had that. Yeah.
That's the visualization. Are they provoking us to do this on purpose? It's sort of like when they do product placement with backwards letters to make your mind think about it. Are they trying to get us to think about it from a Don't tell us to be calm. I won't do what you tell me.
By the way,
Reverse
I feel like I have to mention this, and also it relates
Sure.
to Melancholia. Like if you know the original etching from Albrecht Dürer of Melancholia 1, where that was the basis for the film Melancholia, where it's actually Melancholia is written in a vampire, like a bat. So it's like a bat out. It also relates to like Corona, but in Batman, in Tim Burton's Batman, it's Axis Chemicals is where the Joker gets made into the Joker. And so if you look in front of like City Hall and stuff, like in that movie, they have Atlas and Axis, like all like these giant pillars. Like when he says the pen is mightier than the sword, where he kills that guy, there's like these giant like statues of Atlas and Axis. So I felt like I had this trip out on Batman, where it's like Batman and Joker are like the two sides of the brain.
No
where
one
it's
can
like
hear me.
Like
I can hear you, but let David finish.
Thomas.
There's like Apollo and
I can hear you.
Dionysus.
I'm muting you. That's it. You're in trouble now.
So like so how Joker is like Dionysus and Batman is like Apollo, where it's like Batman is all about the structure and maintaining like Gotham City to be like, you know, like the law and order, right? Like Apollo's like, but like you could relate it that they're the two sides of the brain and they're being held up by like Axis Chemicals. Like Axis Chemicals is like maybe like a I don't know, like a clephotic communication around what actually Gotham City is. Like it's got these two sides and they're like at war with each other, you know, like Dionysus and Apollo. But anyway, I'm sorry, Will, you go ahead. What do you got?
Also Star City because Green Lantern. Okay, Will, now your turn.
Ooh.
I didn't have anything. I couldn't hear you guys for like a full minute, and I was just like, can you hear me?"
Aw, you poor guy.
Oh, that's what was happening. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, we just thought you were being impugnant. So, Nicole Wordsmith's post again. The jester's seat in the court of the Matrix is one place where truth can still hide in plain sight. His role is to mirror society's contradictions back to itself through humor, absurdity, and exaggeration. In a civilized world that worships order while secretly thriving on chaos, the jester points out the irony that the cube we build to contain life becomes the prison of our spirit. The jester's laughter is subversive, the sound of someone who sees the code and can't help but laugh at how seriously everyone takes it. He highlights absurdities in civilized, quote-unquote, society, its rituals of consumption, control, and conformity by holding up a funhouse mirror. Sometimes you have to joke the truth in order to truth into people's awareness before they're ready to face it directly.
Mm-hmm.
And Loki ends up in this position as well, because Loki is more than just a villain, right? He's more of this chaos and trickster, right? He's really a jester in a sense.
Right. The funhouse mirror is like essential to like, if you're gonna like study Kabbalah, there's tetragrammaton, that's the order in nature, and then there's a funhouse version of it, so to speak, where something is mirroring it, but it's twisting it at the same time. And people, the biggest fallacy in the world, according to Kabbalah, is taking that mirror representation to be the thing in itself that exists in nature. So nature has this intelligence and this order, and when we replicate that and then take the replication, whether made by the mind or by the hands, we take that replication to be the other thing, that is basically idolatry. Like that is what idolatry amounts to, is just that mistaken perception where you're like, oh, this is the thing in itself, as Kant would say. Yeah.
Legendary Burrito at one point posted, "At this point I die happy knowing that I don't know all the truths." To which I said, to know thyself is to see the abyss in the mirror. But I would also say it's to look into others' faces and see your own also. I think that's
my favorite response to that kind of question too is Punch's Pilot, who says, what is truth? I always thought that was just a sneaky way to get out of a complicated question.
Right. Well, we have alternative facts, you know.
Funhouse mirror. I have my mandatory mental health meeting right now, so I have to go. But thank you guys so much.
Well, yeah, thank you, Anna Nicole Wordsmith. Let me just tell everyone to go to Anna Nicole Wordsmith's posts and make sure you're subscribed. And we're pretty much done here. It's been 2 hours deep. So yeah, go off into your world. It was good to see you though. And we'll see you again soon.
Good to see you guys. I love you all. Have a good week.
Love you too. Take care.
Hold on.
Is there anything else that you guys wanted, because we're 2 hours deep, is there any other posts that you wanted to share or point out before we break for this?
I would say if you're on TikTok, you should absolutely follow Paranoid American on TikTok. It's like my dumping ground for all of the meme videos that I don't care if TikTok bans me again. I've banned me like so many times. and I just make new ones. I care a little bit more about my other accounts, so highly recommend. I got a couple that have gotten pretty. Yeah, the top one.
Very good. Oh yeah, you're doing the AI. You're doing the AI stuff. Yeah.
Highly recommend some of these. Maybe not that. That was just a weird one that blew up. They got like 12 million views or something. But the latest ones, I think that I've got some anti-salvia messages. I've got some People's Temple playset commercials. I got a King Kill 33 commercial. This was also an early experiment with the Britney breakdown. That I just noticed if you do any kind of celebrity that's trending, they just blow up automatically.
Let me see if I can get the sound for this one because I like this one. This one was pretty good. Hold on.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Good one. This one was good too. Hold on.
It is time for a brand new game. Dante, you're the very first to play.
Don't be a little bitch.
That's not the one.
All right, folks, we got something a little different for you today. Trina, come on over here.
Hi, Bob.
How you feeling?
A little shaky.
You're about to be. This is our brand new game. Take a hit of salvia and hold your shit together. All right.
Good work.
So there's so many. There's hours of content on here.
Tell you something, folks. COVID-19 was a biological science.
Well,
Okay. Let's just calm down.
That's
Allegedly.
But you know what?
COVID-19 was allegedly a biological psyop.
Whether that's the truth or not, is the truth worth it, and at what price? Right. The truth is only worth it if the price is right. I think that's the moral that we get there. David and I just watched a movie last night. We watched The Substance, synchronized to Katy Perry's album, which I think is a very important sync. If you hadn't already known, The Substance film, which is somewhere down here, and 13 also. I haven't seen this sync yet. We should watch that one. But the Substance sync is really interesting because he did it by looking and figuring out which album came out the same day as The Substance, and then shortly afterwards, Katy Perry posted that it was the most important film that she'd seen in some time. So I thought that was a kind of a gentle nod.
Yeah, her album 143 came out the same day and year as The Substance's release. And so I don't actually have that on the website if you're looking for it.
Interesting.
But it is on Twitter. So if you do a search on my profile for The Substance, it'll come up. There's two different versions of it. You probably want to watch the one that's I actually posted to Katy Perry's tweet about it. By the way, her middle name is Elizabeth, which is kind of weird because that's the main character's name. But, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So right here, I think this is the one. Is this the correct sync? Is this the one, or is this not?
See what you got. What do you got? I'm looking at Hillary.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm looking at the Droog Hillary.
Hill dog. I will die on that hill dog. All right. This is I think the Substance sync. Is this the correct one?
Yeah, it should be. If you search it, the only difference is that one of them has like Spanish subtitles whenever there's something written in the movie, but which is what we watched last night. But yeah, the one I actually commented to Katy Perry, if that was probably it. So yeah, but anyway, yeah, crazy.
I'll have to find it. But yeah, definitely watch The Substance sync. That one's really good. Is there anything else you wanted to point out? Also, Bill, afterwards. But yeah, at first, David, anything else you want to point out?
That's good. Yeah, you know the spiel. I have my website has a link on my Twitter. You can just go to thesyncbook.com and go to videos, or look at my highlights, and there's a bunch of stuff there, including the Substance and Katy Perry.
Perfect. Bill, what about you?
Just been obsessed with the show Pluribus, Vince Gilligan's new show. You know, he was X-Files and Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. And a couple of things I noticed about that show. One is back in the day, if you tried to post any sync stuff on Reddit, you were just like thrown out. You know, it was just like, it just wouldn't fly. But it feels like this show has broken that barrier, and people analyzing this show, looking at the correspondences, diving into it. Total obsession. Two, I think Vince Gilligan said the failure of Breaking Bad was that I started to talk about what it meant, and he's made a vow that he's not going to talk about what anything means in this show. And third, in I think the second episode or first episode, she watches The Golden Girls.
Oh yeah.
And so me and Plate watched the first episode of Golden Girls, and anyone who has been confronted with the 6'7" meme, there's a really fucking freaky moment with Sophia. So the woman who's trying to save Carol in Pluribus, her name is Zosha, which is a diminutive of Sophia, and so Sophia has this little 6'7" moment in Golden Girls episode 1, and it's just a show that's crackling with sync right now. Last episode, no spoiler really, but she shoots herself up with sodium pentothal, which is what triggered Philip K. Dick's Valis moment in 2/3/74. And Zosha again is a diminutive of Sophia, and the character represented in the episode 4, his name is Manusus, which is the same as Emmanuel. So it's this whole divine invasion thing that's kind of going on in Pluribus, and I think it's a sync storm waiting to happen. I think pretty much anyone out there watching it picked that up.
Right. Can I add to that, Bill? Just the particulars around the 6'7" reference is that literally they're like, it's a cab, and they're like, I'm supposed to tip the cabbie $67, and then she responds with, no, I said 6'7", but it's like this. It's like 6'7", so she didn't say and. Which is the current meme right now? Is the
it was literally fucking.
That's pretty good. I mean, I'm gonna have to watch Pluribus, and then let's do a thing, Bill. Let's do like a 1-on-1, or get David, or if anybody wants to join Paranoid, we can. If you watch Pluribus, let's do a thing. Let's do a whole
I'm up
thing.
to date. Yeah, I'm totally up to date on it.
Oh my god! Of course, you're the one who knows all the things. I feel bad. I need to catch up. I haven't been watching Pluribus because I've been running around. But 17 ducks, 17 mallards, ABC News. On
and let me just say, anyone that's posting screenshots and you're getting them from Gematrinator or some other option out there,
Brand X, shame on you.
Yeah, shame on you. Seriously, this is free. You don't have to log in to use any of the features to find all the search results. All the other Gematria decoders online, they make you pay to get these features that are all completely free. So just come here. And plus, every single one of these, you can add it to a favorite list. They go to automatically export screenshots. It's got more features than any of the competition out there.
Hey, Thomas, have you been dabbling in VR?
Yeah, I mean, I've got one of the oldest VR demos because I had the Oculus DK2 back when I was at Disney. I actually made a cloud simulator, and I made an MK Ultra simulator that flashed images of puppies in one eye and then images from like rotten.com in the other eye.
No.
So I've
How dare you?
I've got a VR idea that's an extension of your Gematria calculator. Let's
do it, man. I'm down. I think awesome.
For sure.
Yes, and say a special prayer for my laptop, which I flashed because I tried to shut it down and it wanted to update the BIOS because Windows is evil, and it's my own fault for having Windows on a laptop instead of Linux. But say a prayer for my laptop because I don't know if I'll get it back from that. That's pretty scary. Otherwise, support me.
Well, you can always install Linux on it now, right?
The BIOS is fried right now. The BIOS didn't get the update properly, so it won't. It's like it's a very expensive paperweight if I can't fix the BIOS. It's really scary. I'm going through a lot. I don't know. How about you, Will? What about you? What do you got to say before we go?
Nothing. Thanks for having me.
Will, when I was visiting in Texas, I found a copy of the Sync book, and we were looking through it, and I was trying to see, where's David's entrance? Where's any of our friends' entrances from the Sync book 2? Sync book 2. But in the first Sync book, if you really want to find somebody, you'll find Will's. Mm-hmm. And it starts out by saying, how do you remember how it begins? It's like, we're all lied to, or we're all lost, or everything's, I don't know. It's great. It's a great one. I should pull it up and read. We should read your article from the Sync book to people, but you're prodigious, and people should shout you out. You're the unsung hero. So thank you for being here.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Go subscribe to Meta.
Yeah, as I say, everybody should be on a meta egg watching Will's sync stuff because it's some of the most important sync stuff on YouTube. I particularly love your effort with this alien friend of yours. Transhumanism is for all Babylese. Babylese? Is that right? Babylese? I think that's right. For all babies. Babylese. Okay, babies at one point. There's some sort
So
of
on the show
mistake
one
there.
time, I was writing a whole bunch of scripts because we taught, it's easy to do now, but we taught a chat bot how to do sync.
Yeah.
I put a bunch of those together, and I did one for Paul Bettany. I did one for Conley. Then some guy just hired me to do a whole commercial using AI. I just finished up the first one of that, and then I'll direct my attention back to Meta Egg. And this is Gary. This is Gary the Gray, and he basically does stand up while explaining sync.
Dude, let me just say also thank you Clockwise for your help because you have no idea, like it's scary. And anyone who helps me, I love you. You're anyone who doesn't help me, you're cool too. But I appreciate that people appreciate what we're doing and tries to keep us going because it's hard to do this sometimes, but it's also a lot of
It's
fun.
hard out here.
It's hard out here.
Can I just give a quick shout out to Will Morgan? I might have said this before, but I remember a conversation about 3 years ago where he was telling me that you have to teach AI sync, how to sync.
Yeah.
And so this whole question if AI is sentient or not, when you ask or direct or lead AI into sync, they start interpreting the correspondences in real time. And
Yeah.
I don't think I would have ever thought of it that way. And I think it was one of the most original and foundational ideas about using AI. And I don't know if there's anybody out there who did that explicitly. So point for Will Morgan.
I've tried to do my work as well because I do, and ChatGPT knows that we do SYNCTANK and synchromysticism, and it's been great. But I think that Will has done a lot of work that's worked upstream color, if you will, into making AI better at syncing, which is really important. Not just a syncing tool, but a synchromystic tool. So, Will, you've done that for the world. I think that's really important. So, thank you for that.
Thanks, guys. That means a lot.
You're a beautiful man. You're very handsome too, and you're a family man. You have a family. We're proud of you. Paranoid American. You're handsome. Whatever. You look kind of like David Koresh or that one actor who plays him on TV.
I know we're still talking about Will now.
No,
yeah.
Sorry.
ParanoidAmerican.com.
The best comic books in the world.
If you want some cool like Christmas gifts, like these are the perfect stocking stuffers. They'll fit in a greeting card. So like come by, grab like 10 or 20 of these things and send one to everyone you know. I guarantee you it'll be way cooler than whatever stupid white elephant gift that you're going to get them anyways. Like they don't want a bread maker, but they'll definitely read a comic book about the Illuminati, guaranteed.
And for those of you with families or with friends with families, people have asked me, does Paranoid American also make comic books or books that would be good for children? And there's no better book for a child in the world, I think, than Connect the Dots, The Confounding Conspiracy of Chemtrails. Sort of a magic school bus adventure with this, diverse, powerful female wearing Dorito.
Her name is Miss Terry. Her name is Miss Terry.
Miss Terry. Yeah, that's very good. So yeah, I think everyone should buy as many copies of this book as possible. Give it to their families and give it to their friends' families. If you know someone,
why do you sound like Syphila and Ollie's Precious Roy segment? Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh, I got some serious ass chemtrail problems. You know about the chemtrail problems I've been having. Well, have we got a solution for you?
Well, I mean, it's a great book for kids.
There has to be a better way.
Yeah. I also think it's interesting in this the use of the T is very similar to the RFK Jr. tattoo. No,
whoa! Zoom out. This is not for live discussion.
That's fair. All right, I'm not going to show off JFK's tattoo that looks exactly like that. Okay, sure, whatever you want. But yeah, make sure you go to paranoidamerican.com, the greatest comic book publisher in the world and the best-selling comic books on conspiracy comic books. So there's nothing like it, and there's nowhere else that you can go to get that itch scratched. Frazzle drip, my friends, and I will die on that hill, dog. Cool.
I ship out fast, so if you get one this week, you'll get it by the end of this week.
Nice.
That's awesome. And then, yeah, if you love me and you want to help me, you can always go to Xirtus.com. You can support the Xirtus directly. You can send
Guys.
coin. You can do whatever you want to help us. You can also buy Xirtus merchandise. I have yoga mats. I have stretch pants. If you think your woman would be more beautiful or your man would look better in an Xirtus shirt, you're not wrong. You're right. So get yourself on the Sync socks, dude. We have Xirtus Sync socks.
Hey,
Xirtus
do you have the link to Bill's ayahuasca blog?
Yeah, let's pull up Bill's ayahuasca blog. Is it can you post it? It's ayahuasca at Blogspot, is that correct? I think I have it actually here.
There you go.
This is
You
the
got
right
it.
one, right?
It's
Yeah.
funny that you
Yeah.
guys mentioned Axis as in relation to Three Eye Atlas, is because the post there is from a Chicago artist, Bobby Kahn, and he had this whole thing about the Axis 67, and well, we're riding that new meme, so.
I just posted a link to Bill's ayahuasca blog here in the F chat link right here. So I say go here. So go to F chat. You can actually pick up the link there. I'll also put it in the chat here, but it's a lot. ayahuasca blogspot is a lot harder to click on the link in a comment. I'll show it on the screen here so you can know how to spell it. That might help you to write it yourself. IA as opposed to AI, huasca.blogspot. But if you just want to click on the link, it's right. I put it right here. So it's very easy. Just click on, I'll zoom in for you underneath. You go click right here and it'll take you to his blog and you can check it. He's got a lot of interesting material. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Sync book lore and the heroes of the lore, but Always Record is the book that, or the show that you need to check out. You can actually listen to episodes long since the Sync Tank, like the prequel, the truth is all here on the syncbook.com. You can click on Always Record, and there are tons of amazing podcasts here with some of the most prodigious synchromistic experts in the world. Some of these are hours long, right? Like some of these are very long, and you've got everything from Another Kubrick in the Wall, Doors of Perception, Riders of the Storm, Valis and the Cosmic Cube with Mark Leclerc. There's the monkeys and Touch the Monolith.
Yeah, I recommend the Mark Leclerc ones especially.
Yeah.
Peace be upon him. But yeah.
Age is like a fine wine, my friend.
Monkey brains. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And if you just want to buy some new music to listen to, you can listen to it. But Helena, she's got a new album. She's great. She's got 3 great new albums, actually. You've got Tree of Life with Xirtus. You have Hologram, which is kind of a Madonna meets Blondie kind of album. And Ghost is very much a R&B album, which I think is pretty good. I'm very impressed with how this one turned out. She has a vision unlike others. You can get the entire collection on sale now. So helena.bandcamp.com as well. All right, cool. Thank you for being here. We'll see you guys next time on the Sync Tank.